Blogtalk Radio.
So the Most High is going to stop the flowing of the people going into that country. Read.
Jeremiah chapter 51, the end of verse 44. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. Verse 45. My people, go ye out of the midst.
Hold up, read that again.
My people, go ye out of the midst.
I think within this chapter, he said flee and get out of her around 3-4 times. Right? Read.
My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Most High Ahijah. And let your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumors that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor. And
wars and rumors of wars. You hear about it, and because it's not happening, you think it's not going to happen. Read.
Verse 46, end of verse 46. And violence in the land, ruler against ruler. Verse 47. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, shall sing for Babylon, for the spoiler shall come unto her from the north, saith the Most High Ahijah. As Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, so as Babylon shall call the slain of all the earth. Ye that have escaped the sword, go away, stand not still. Remember the Most High Ahijah afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind.
Listen to this clear. Ye that have escaped the sword, that means you escape the destruction that's coming to Babylon, go away and stand not still. So when you leave, remember the power or the God Ahijah afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. That's looking forward, not looking back. Now let Jerusalem come into your mind. She's finished. Right? Read.
Verse 51. We are confounded, because we have heard reproach. Shame has covered our faces, for strangers are coming to the sanctuary of the Lord's house.
Strangers have destroyed us. Strangers have destroyed our sanctuary, our belief. They destroyed our understanding so that we cannot connect to our God. They've given us their God. Baal, Satan, the dragon, Moloch. These are the gods we've been worshiping ignorantly. Jesus. Zeus. Okay, we ain't know nobody named Jesus. Total madness. And then when we wake up and understand these things, we say, well, hold up. I'm a stranger here. You dragged me here. And the Most High starts reviving us. They be like, okay, we have one who's the extremist. You're a terrorist. Read on.
Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 52. Wherefore, behold, the days come, saith the Most High Ahijah, that I will do judgment upon her graven images.
You're going to destroy all your images and your idols. And man, if you even look at Washington, D.C., it's idol after idol. Monuments of idols. Obelisks, which is man's personal member. That's what an obelisk is. What's that, the Washington Monument? Idols every place. 5-pointed stars every place. For what if some did not believe? So what if you don't believe what we're teaching you? Paul asked, so what if some did not believe? Shall your unbelief make the faith of God without effect? You mean the Most High is going to stop his whole program because you don't believe something? No, you're dead. That's what you are. Okay? His program was before us. And it will be well after us. And that's for the people that's walking out there and say, well, there's wars all the time. There've always been these situations. Every few years this happens. Nothing is going to change. That's a dead man.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Barakatham Watawada. Peaceful Sabbath. Bless you all, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Friday Night Sabbath, coming out of Babylon here on blogtalkradio.com for the Gathering of Christ Church. I'm your host, Brother Ramar. With me in the studio is Brother Shamna Wa'ala, and it is February 28, 2014, 4:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hope the brothers and sisters out there that are listening have had a great week so far. Had the Feast of Purim this week, Tuesday night to Thursday night was the 2-day feast and memorial of Purim. So definitely hope that everybody enjoyed their holy days. And as we get ready for the 7th day of the week, Shabbat, pray and hope that everybody has a blessed one. All right, we definitely, as always, have a lot of great information to bring out tonight concerning news, prophecy, and current events. Before we do, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Ahaya, in the name of His Son, Christ Yeshua, to be able to get ready for another Sabbath day, a day that He set out as a sign between Him and His people, those who are following Him and not the world, and to have the opportunity to host another broadcast here on Blogtalk for the Gathering of Christ Church. Also, before we start, I want to go into some church announcements for any new listeners or anybody that may not be aware of the different ways that you can follow and listen and participate with the Gathering of Christ Church. All right, as far as Blog Talk is concerned, Blog Talk Radio is on 3 nights a week at the current moment for the Gathering of Christ Church. It's on every Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. You have Friday Night Sabbath coming out of Babylon. The website that you can listen in is www.blogtalkradio.com/GOCchurch. The guest caller number is 646-200-4309. At any time, if you have a comment or question, simply press 1 and they'll put you in the call queue. So when we go to the call lines, we can take your call. The 4th hour is overtime. Listen through the computer. Make sure you call in, guest call-in number, or Skype in through the website if you want to listen further past the 3rd hour, going into the 4th. Every Sunday, you have Hebrew Culture is Life, hosted by Brother Xavier, Gathering of Christ Church, California, West Coast. Starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. On Wednesdays, you have GOCC Search Engine International, hosted by Brother Gaja, Elder Rakar Shiar. That is at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. All shows do archive, so if you missed the show, you can always go back and check the archives. Saturday, you have the Sabbath Day teaching on Ustream. Usually comes on around 11 a.m., 12 noon Eastern, hosted by Elder Rakar Shiar and Elder Lawyer. The website for that is www.ustream.tv/THE-GOC-church. After that, you have the law class hosted by Elder Bar Yasha'Allah out of New York, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And those classes are archived also, so you can always go back if you missed those classes. If you're looking to reach out to the church, there's a few ways. You have the email address, gatheringas1 at AOL.com, or you can simply call 888-334-3330. I also have the church website, www.gatheringofchrist.org. You can always go and get up-to-date information concerning the church and participate in the forums and things of that nature. you're in the Texas area, and you look at the fellowship, you want to get baptized, anything concerning that, send an email to GOCC Texas, GOCCTEXAS@ymail.com, or you can simply call 972-793-7068. Alright, now before we go into tonight's information, segment 1 of news, current events, and prophecy, we're going to take a brief intermission, play some new music, new truth music, and when we come back, we'll go right into it. Stay tuned.
Shema, Yasha Allah. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. Yo, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is done in heaven. We don't have no fear, cause the battle is won, and I would've been condemned, but he sent his son. See that boy A-Black strike dead in the mall. Now that man here stands on his fiery sword that had me gone. I was wrong, I was trapped in the storm. Now I'm reborn and I'm strong, waiting to be transformed to incorruptible, busting through, crushing you, tough to move. Pen from my higher, trust me, you can't do it. I see through you like you translucent. I'm from the ghetto, out the gutter like I'm raw sewage. We ain't no Christians over here, homie, Paul knew it. And my precision's deadly accurate, I spit fluid acid tip. Grit burning up foolish, we call a higher bias, Junior Shire. He brought the flood, this time he bringing fire. Let him be true and every man a liar. He's our redeemer, holy one of Zion, the mighty lion. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. We are not in league with this world but the Father. We are not about vain greed of the dollar. We're against the adversary and anyone that follows him. Dig and follow me, we prophesy and constantly casting down all imaginations and stupid philosophy. Consciously you void the truth, so you can't fathom how we trace the pure bloodline way back to Adam and Eve. You're the seed, you believe it don't matter. If you read, you'll see who seed mixed with the dragon. Y'all laughing, we all action, you fasting, and y'all gasping for air while I'm stamina lasting like all Madden. Keep on laughing, we fasting, y'all gasping for air like our stamina lasting like all Madden. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is done in heaven. Came to the truth, now I see my conscience is right. Line for Judah with a large bite. precept after precept, free my appetite. I X'd out Negro and put Israelite. The road is given to the hands of the wicked. The meek shall inherit the earth. On the most high team playing the difference for. Came out that water, Gabal, Malak. Came to the truth. Yes, we suffered a lot out of that tribe. JEWEDuP, it's for his name's sake. Yes, we are despised. My people hypnotized by these seasoned ways. My heritage taken away from the plots and schemes. Pastor selling you these hopeless dreams. It's wicked sorcery. I praise a higher promoted me. My forefathers came on the boat on these raging seas. It's children of Israel with the chosen people. The Most High keep me going without no diesel. I got my armor up for that evil. Snakes in the grass, know he lethal. Came to the truth, now I see what I'm worth. I'm made in his image, dark as the dirt. It's the laws that we can't depart from. It was lies, we was underhanded. About that truth around, they be dancing. They be worshiping these devils, doing enchantments. Salvation is for the Jews, and only way I can answer. They be worshiping their gods, it's like a slow eating cancer. Now I approach it in a different manner, Hebrew grammar. And I was blind, touching nothing but braille. One bad move is one drive to jail, but not even knowing it's the devil that we trail. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya. Shema, 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 Yasha Allah. There is only one power, his name is Ahaya.
I never knew I could feel like this, cause I never seen a more beautiful day like this. No, not Easter and not Christmas, just the holy days written in the scriptures. Cause Santa Claus make the good boys do folly. How we coming through the projects, dog? Through the lobby? I'm too old, bro. Why you playing tricks for? He a thief like Brother Man from the 5th floor. They keep knocking, but I ain't letting them in. The philosophies, hypocrisy, traditions of men. I keep the holy days, giving gifts to feast of Purim. They cut a tree in the forest and they trick us to sin. I got a question, I wonder who could stump it. What happened to the memorial blowing of the trumpets? Or the Pentecost? Our people very lost. We need a day of atonement, not a pagan cross. So get up and dance for the Most High. Move your body, clap your hands for the Most High. Yeah, and you don't stop. Till my sisters keep it covered, we on top. So get up and dance for the Most High. Move your body, clap your hands for the Most High. Yeah, and you don't stop. To my brothers, Yasharala, we on top. Trick or treat sound like a trick to me. Children running in the streets trying to get a bite to eat on a day when Satan lets his demons off the leash. This is what we try to teach, but they don't want to hear it though. I'm trying to get your mind off them silly habits, cause they selling tricks for kids with them silly rabbits. Then they make merry and pass out gifts, and they crucify Christ like a Roman Catholic. So if you want to be holy, homie, keep the holy feast, and be more like Christ and not Big Meech. Be humble, be low, be very meek, and hit the streets and wake up the lost sheep. Cause most of us is living in the darkness. 808 and heartbreak, the world is kinda heartless. So when you get a chance, shed a little light. Let your brothers and your sisters know to keep up the fight. Yeah. So get up and dance for the Most High. Move your body, clap your hands for the Most High. Yeah, and you don't stop. Till my sisters keep it covered, we on top. So get up and dance for the Most High. Move your body, clap your hands for the Most High. Yeah, and you don't stop. To my brothers, Yasharala, we on top. So sit back, enjoy the feast, stand up, wine. Get the thoughts of Babylon out your mind. If you was feeling the track, press rewind and give praise to the Most High. So sit back, enjoy the feast, stand up, wine. Get the thoughts of Babylon out your mind. Jiggy jiggy like John Blaze, smooth like new suede, dance like David from the States to the UK. If you're happy, you know it, clap your hands. Hooray to my Jews and Gentiles and those that follow the 7th day of the week and keep it hollow. I know that things can get tough like rhinos, but never stop keeping the faith. This is the motto. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. So get up and dance for the Most High. Move your body, clap your hands for the Most High. Yeah, and you don't stop. To my sisters keeping cover, we on top. So get up and dance for the Most High. Move your body, clap your hands for the Most High. Yeah, and you don't stop. To my brothers, Yasharala, we on top. So get up and dance for the Most High. Move your body, clap your hands for the Most High. Yeah, and you don't stop. To my sisters keeping cover, we on top. So get up and dance for the Most High. Move your body, clap your hands for the Most High. Yeah, and you don't stop. To my brothers, Yasharala, we on top.
Isaiah 61. The Spirit of the Most High power is upon me, because the Most High hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Most High, and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Most High, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old waste, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers, but ye shall be named the priest of the Most High. Men shall call you the ministers of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory ye shall boast yourselves. For your shame ye shall have double, and for your confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore, in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I, the Most High, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering. And I will direct their work in truth. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offsprings among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Most High hath blessed. I will greatly rejoice in the Most High. My soul shall be joyful in my power, for he hath clothed me with the garment of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself her jewels. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causes the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so the Most High will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. Oh, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us for our days, as we forgive our debtors. lead us not into temptation,
power and the glory forever.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, we're back. And I'm going to get the scripture for the broadcast, which is St. Matthew chapter 24, verse 20. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. All right, so let's talk about Matthew chapter 24 for a moment and what this means. And to get understanding, we simply could just go to the very top of the chapter, start at verse 1. It says, And Yeshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yeshua said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So the disciples were asking the Messiah about the temple and the temple being destroyed, not one stone being left unturned. Also, they wanted to know, when would this happen? And the Messiah is going in Matthew 24, letting them know that these things will happen. The fall of our people, when the siege happened in 70 A.D., and also the end of the world before his second coming, before his return. And as we lead up to verse 20, understanding this so far, we know that the enemy stands, that those who are true followers of the Messiah and keeping the commandments will be keeping the Sabbath day. On the Sabbath is a time for gathering, keeping a holy convocation, keeping it holy, resting. So what better and perfect time for the enemy to attack? So the Messiah is letting us know here that we must be prepared and ready at all times, even on the Sabbath day. Time and time again, the enemy has always attacked and came against us and those true followers of the Most High on the Sabbath day, confirming that the Sabbath has not been done away with, that it is forever. And of course, the wintertime, because, we understand that winter is not a pleasurable time in the least bit, just for daily operation, let alone for survival. Pretty much everybody is begging for springtime and the heat and the sun to come when it's cold and it's wintry outside and the conditions are harsh. Now, going into tonight's news, I want to continue with Matthew chapter 24 because there's a lot of things that are going on right now and that have been going on for a long time. But as we get closer to the end, these things are going to continue to escalate and intensify. The birth pangs will increase and speed up. So when we go to, I'm just going to continue reading, verse 4. And Yeshua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. So the first thing he warned is that no man deceive you, meaning that the word is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We start with the word and we end with the word. All right, that doesn't mean that the Most High doesn't send pastors or shepherds to instruct or to teach, but we constantly have to reprove with the word. we constantly have to be in the Word to know the commandments, to know what to do what's right, what to do what's wrong. And through keeping the commandments and the law, we gain wisdom to know those things and situations and people, to know so we can't be deceived. Verse 5, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So many, meaning majority. There's going to be a large amount or majority that are going to come saying that they are Christ or Christ-like, which we know would be your modern-day Christianity, because they have come in the name of Christ and have deceived many, just with what we just spoke of about the law and the commandments, saying that we don't have to keep the law, we don't have to keep the commandments. That is letting man deceive you, because the scriptures are plain and clear to keep the commandments. All right, so within Christianity, you have paganism, following of pagan holidays, and doing things that are against the Bible in itself. All right, so far we see major deception, and we are warned against this deception. Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So when we see and hear wars and rumors of wars, don't be troubled by these things, is what Christ is telling us. Because these things have to happen. They must come to pass. But the end is not yet, meaning that when you see these things, he's not going to come out the sky right then and there. But this is the beginning of his return. Things that will lead up to his return that you're looking for to know that we are in that time. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So this is, when these things are happening, understand this is just the beginning of sorrows. The great tribulation hasn't hit at this point. This is just the beginning. It's going to get worse is what it means. Now, speaking about, we're going to speak about a lot of these things that we just read about. Before we do, before we go into the news, you've had a rash of suicides, so-called suicides that have been happening with bankers, elite bankers that have died, bizarre suicidal deaths, some jumping out of buildings, some shooting themselves with nail guns. So you just all of a sudden just saw, just out of nowhere, just banker after banker committing suicide. And, I was just sitting, analyzing, trying to understand, what this really meant, because you had a lot of people saying, well, these people were probably had inside knowledge, and, they were, put pressure on to kill themselves, and maybe they didn't kill themselves at all. Maybe what they knew, and they could possibly become whistleblowers, that they were actually knocked off to look like a suicide. But as I thought about that, I was thinking, well, that's a possibility. But when I really started seeing what's going on with the financial market and the economic market in America, with the economy and the dollar, I started to think along the lines of an occultic ritual, and that this was, Freemasonic communication that the Bible calls the rulers of the darkness of this world, and the world knows them by the name of the Illuminati. They're communicating and amongst themselves to let it be known that the economy is about to be dead, kill the dollar, that they're about to kill the banks. And that's the conclusion I came up with, is what they're actually conveying with these deaths, is that the banking system is about to die. Now, there have been some articles and videos speculating that this will happen on March 4th. And one thing I will say is that, don't get caught up in any dates as far as them putting a date out saying it's going to happen on this date or that date. But be more so understanding that it's going to happen. It's going to happen sooner than later. And more than likely when it happens, it'll be some type of false flag. There's been a lot of propaganda about cyber threats and cyber attacks before Janet Napolitano resigned from her Department of Homeland Security position. She said that the next DHS head will have to worry about a cyber threat and a natural disaster in America. She said that it's not a matter of if, but when. So she promised that will be happening soon. And how she could make a guarantee on something like that, the only conclusion that we can come up with is that she actually knows of something that's planned to happen. Because you can't just come out and make a statement like that to know for sure that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen on the next person's watch that comes in after her. So you're looking at some type of cyber threat that would, the banking system is all connected through the internet. It's pretty much a cashless society now. We're not really dealing with paper money. We're dealing with credit cards and debit cards. Everything is digital. And this is to make way for the mark of the beast, which will be a digital economic system with some type of grafting into the skin, some type of etching into the skin, the technology of the beast. You're looking at RFID technology. So this is what all this is leading up to with this whole economic situation. And then with the cyber threat, you now have the ability to now control the internet, because through the internet it has awoken a vast amount of people. Majority of us can say that the information that we first come into, that we have learned, has come off the internet. Whether it's the understanding of self, the understanding of the truth of what's really going on in the world, waking up to the evil and the wickedness, that the power are in control. As far as concerning all the Illuminati videos that I know a lot of us came into when we first, you could say woke up. The internet is what has provided this influx of information, and this internet continues to be the medium of communication of the truth. And the governments of the world understand that they must be able to control the internet, because with the internet there, they cannot brainwash and they cannot control the minds of the masses with their sorcerous media, their sorcerous news that they use to try to condition and brainwash you into thinking that something is one way when it's actually not. So through the internet, we're able to communicate. We're able to bring to you this broadcast tonight. So it definitely would be a way for them to kill a few birds with one stone, to bring forth this cyber threat that they've guaranteed will happen. So definitely something to be mindful of, that this will be happening eventually. And with everything that's happened in the economy and the economic news, every day seems like we're getting closer and closer to that time. All right, now, Matthew 24 spoke about famine and pestilences. In the past, we spoke about what's going on in California, in the southwestern part of America, with the drought. And a lot of people don't really understand how serious this is, because, of course, The media is not going to tell you how serious it is and what this could lead to. A lot of people are just living their everyday lives. As long as there's food on the shelf, as long as there's water on the shelf, then they see no threat. Not understanding the dynamics and the complexity of the supply chain in America, that one ripple in that chain will affect it to a point to where there won't be any food or water on the shelves. People don't have their own farms. People don't have their own gardens. People don't have their own wells or sources of water. They're strictly dependent upon the government and the corporations to provide them of this sustenance. This takes us over to our first article. It comes off of zerohedge.com, dated February 17th, 2014. It says 15 reasons why your food prices are about to start soaring. Did you know that the U.S. produces the most vegetables, is going through the worst drought it has ever experienced, and that the size of the total U.S. cattle herd is now the smallest that it has been since 1951? Just the other day, a CBS News article boldly declared that food prices soar as incomes stand still. But the truth is that this is only just the beginning. If the drought that has been devastating farmers and ranchers out west continues, we are going to see prices for meat, fruits, and vegetables soar into the stratosphere. Already, the federal government has declared portions of 11 states to be disaster areas, and California farmers are going to leave 500,000 acres sitting idle this year because of the extremely dry conditions. Sadly, experts are telling us that things are probably going to get worse before they get better, if they ever do. As you will read below, one expert recently told National Geographic that throughout history, it has been quite common for that region of North America to experience severe droughts that last for decades. In fact, one drought actually lasted for about 200 years. So there is the possibility that this drought that has begun in the state of California may not end during your entire lifetime. This drought has gotten so bad that it is starting to get national attention. Barack Obama visited the Fresno region on Friday, and he declared that this is going to be a very challenging situation this year, and frankly, the trend lines are such where it's going to be a challenging situation for some time to come. According to NBC News, businesses across the region are shutting down. Large numbers of workers are leaving to search for other work, and things are already so bad that it calls to mind the Dust Bowl of the 1930s. So I believe a couple weeks ago, when we spoke about the fall and coming plagues to Babylon, known as America, to modern-day Babylon, spiritual Babylon, we talked about the famine. We talked about the retail apocalypse and the job market disappearing. So now with this famine, continued job loss. You see more and more people out of work now because of there's no work. There's no work in the fields. If the fields are dried up and you can't grow any food, then those people have no jobs. They have to go elsewhere. As if the job market wasn't already bad enough in America from a retail position or a corporate position or any other position. And this is what is going to lead to the great famine spoken of, not only in Matthew 24, but is particularly spoken of about Babylon in Revelation chapter 18. It's coming to America. And it's saying, it's comparing this to the Dust Bowl of the 1930s. And if anybody's familiar with their history, maybe you learned this in school, but the Dust Bowl is during the time of the Great Depression. It started in the 1920s in America when the financial system crashed. Then you had, within that same time, you also had a Dust Bowl, a time of famine, a time of no rain, all happening at the same time. And again, you're starting to see history repeat itself all over again, except they're comparing this particular economic crash, and this particular famine to make the first time around during the 20s and 30s like a walk in the park. And those of us that are familiar with Scripture, we know how it will go and how it will end. Reading on here, it says, in the state's Central Valley, where nearly 40% of all jobs are tied to agriculture production and related processing, the pain has already trickled down. Businesses across a wide swath of the region have shuttered, casting countless workers adrift in a downturn that calls to mind the Dust Bowl of the 1930s. If you will recall, there have been warnings that Dust Bowl conditions were going to return to the western half of the country for quite some time. Now the mainstream media is finally starting to catch up. And of course, these extremely dry conditions are going to severely affect food prices. The following are 15 reasons why your food bill is going to start soaring. All right, because this is what is referred to as combined disasters. When you have an economic issue going on, a situation happening with inflation, depression, food prices everything's going up and there's no jobs. Wages are going down. Insurance prices are going up because now Obamacare is in place. Now you're getting hit with tax liens and tax penalties. This is all by design. This is all to have these events happen combined so that you will be overwhelmed into taking the mark of the beast. And this is what the book of Daniel refers to as the daily sacrifice being taken away. This is the powers of this world, the wicked powers of this world, the rulers of darkness. This is their agenda to now take away your daily sacrifice and push you into a position to where now if you want to eat, you must come to the beast. You must take its mark. You must show allegiance to the system. Number one, 2013 was the driest year on record for the state of California. And 2014 has been exceptionally dry far as well. All right, so driest year on record for California, 2013. In January, which is California's supposed to be their wettest month as far as precipitation goes, they've had a record number of fires. Number two, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor, 91.6% of the entire state of California is experiencing severe to exceptional drought, even as you read this article. Number three, according to CNBC, being projected that California farmers are going to let 500,000 acres of farmland sit idle this year because of the crippling drought. Number four, Celeste Cantu, the general manager for the Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority, says that this drought could have a cataclysmic impact on food prices. Given the fact California is one of the largest agricultural regions in the world, the effects of any drought, never mind one that could last for centuries, are huge. About 80% of California's freshwater supply is used for agriculture. The cost of fruits and vegetables could soar, says Cantu. There will be cataclysmic impacts. Number five, Mike Wade, the executive director of the California Farm Water Coalition, recently explained which crops he believes will be hit the hardest. Hardest hit will be such annual row crops as tomatoes, broccoli, lettuce, cantaloupes, garlic, peppers, and corn. Wade said consumers can also expect higher prices and reduced selection at grocery stores, particularly for products such as almonds, raisins, walnuts, and olives. Number six, as I discussed in a previous article, the rest of the nation is extremely dependent on the fruits and vegetables grown in California. Just consider the following statistics regarding what percentage of our produce is grown in the state. 99% of the artichokes, 44% of asparagus, 2/3 of carrots, half of bell peppers, 89% of cauliflower, 94% of broccoli, 95% of celery, 90% of the leaf lettuce, 83% of romaine lettuce, 83% of fresh spinach, 1/3 of the fresh tomatoes, 86% of lemons, 90% of avocados, 84% of peaches, 88% of fresh strawberries, 97% of fresh plums. So as you can see, just within California, the majority of those numbers were 80% or higher of those particular crops being grown in California. And when you factor in from California all the way to Texas, all the whole Southwest going through this similar drought, you can pretty much get closer to 100% with these crops. But this is just California, one state. Number 7, of course it isn't just agriculture which will be affected by this drought. Consider this chilling statement by Tim Quinn, the executive director of the Association of California Water Agencies. There are places in California that if we don't do something about it, tens of thousands of people could turn on their water faucets and nothing would come out. Number 8, the Sierra Nevada snowpack is only about 15% of what it normally is. As the New York Times recently explained, this is going to be absolutely devastating for Californians when the warmer months arrive. Because understand, this is the cold months. This is supposed to be the wet months. So imagine when spring and summertime hit. Experts offer dire warnings. The current drought has already eclipsed previous water crises, like the one in 1977, which a meteorologist friend, translating into language we understand as historians, likened to the Great Depression of droughts. Most Californians depend on the Sierra Nevada for their water supply, but there was just 15% of normal in early February. 15%. That's about a tenth, close to a tenth of what it normally is. A residue for water. And this is the snowpack. This is the part up in the mountains which is supposed to be cold. And you would think that there would be plenty of snow to melt for water. Even that's gone. Number 9, the underground aquifers that so many California farmers depend upon are being drained at a staggering rate. Pumping from aquifers is so intense that the ground in parts of the valley is sinking about a foot a year. Once aquifers compress, they can never fill with water again. So now even the ground is sinking because the water is disappearing out of the ground. As if California wasn't already in a bad situation with the fault line. Now it's getting closer to sea level because of this water disappearing. It's no surprise Tom Willie wakes every morning with a lump in his throat. When we ask which farmers will survive the summer, he responds quite simply, those who dig the deepest and pump the hardest. Number 10, according to an expert interviewed by National Geographic, the current drought in the state of California could potentially last for 200 years or more, as some mega droughts in the region have done in the past. California is experiencing its worst drought since record-keeping began in the 19th century. And scientists say this may be just the beginning. B. Lynn Ingram, a paleoclimatologist at the University of California at Berkeley, thinks that California needs to embrace itself for a mega drought, one that could last for 200 years or more. Number 11, Much of the western U.S. has been exceedingly dry for an extended period of time, and this is hurting huge numbers of farmers and ranchers all the way from Texas to the West Coast. The western United States has been in a drought that has been building for more than a decade, according to climatologist Bill Patzert of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Ranchers in the West are selling off their livestock, Patzert said. Farmers all over the Southwest from Texas to Oregon are fallowing in their fields because of a lack of water. For farmers and ranchers, this is a painful drought. Number 12. The size of the U.S. cattle herd has been shrinking for 7 years in a row, and it is now the smallest that it has been since 1951. But our population has more than doubled since then. So you're dealing with a cattle population that's the smallest since 1951, and on top of that, the American population has doubled since 1951. So you have to ask yourself, if that's the case, is that really beef that you're eating? And if not, then what is it? And this, because of this, is now why you see the rise of Monsanto and the GMO within the food chain, GMO crops, the GMO animals. Because this is the only way they're able to sustain and make the people in America think that there's not a drought or a famine taking place. This is how they're able to prop up the food market and the food industry the same way they're doing with the financial industry in America. They have a printing press so they can continue to print money. The dollar is the world reserve currency, so they can continue to prop both of these markets up to make you think that everything is okay. Number 13, extremely unusual weather patterns are playing havoc with crops all over the planet right now. The following is an excerpt from a recent article by Lizzie Bennett. Peru, Venezuela, and Bolivia experience rainfall heavy enough to flood fields and rot crops where they stand. Volcanic eruptions in Ecuador are also creating problems due to cattle ingesting ash, with their feeding leading to a slow and painful death. Parts of Australia have been in drought for years, affecting cattle and agricultural production. Rice production in China has been affected by record low temperatures. Large parts of the UK are underwater, and much of that water is seawater, which is poisoning the soil. So wet is the UK that groundwater is so high it is actually coming out of the ground and adding to the water from rivers and the sea, with the official assessment being that groundwater flooding will continue until May, and that's if it doesn't rain again between now and then. The River Thames is 65 feet higher than normal in some areas, flooding town after town as it heads to the sea. Number 14. As food prices rise, our incomes are staying about the same. The following is from a CBS News article entitled, "Food Prices Soar as Income Stands Still." While the government says prices are up 6.4% since 2011, chicken is up 18.4%, ground beef is up 16.8%, and bacon has skyrocketed up 22.8%, making it a holiday when it's on sale. As I have written about previously, median household income has fallen for 5 years in a row. So average Americans are going to have to make their food budget stretch more than they ever have before as this drought drags on. If the drought does continue to get worse, small agricultural towns all over California are going to die off. For instance, consider what is already happening to the little town of Mendota. The farms in and around Mendota are dying of thirst. The signs are everywhere, orchards with trees lying on their sides as if shot. Former farm fields given over to tumbleweeds, land and cattle for sale, cheap. Large numbers of agricultural workers continue to hang on, hoping that somehow there will be enough work for them. But as Evelyn Naives recently observed, panic is starting to set in. Off-season, by mid-February, idle workers are clearly anxious. Farm workers and everyone else who waits out the winter for work, truckers, diesel providers, packing suppliers, and the like, are nearing the end of the savings they squirrel away during the season. The season starts again in March, April at the latest, but no one knows who will get work when the season begins or how much. People are scared, panicked even. So as you see how big of effect that the drought has, lines of work, all of these different industries, the trucking industry, diesel providers, packing suppliers, anybody that's around the food industry is suffering because of this drought. And then it's only going to put a strain on other entities, other companies. And then, of course, as a consumer, when you go to the food market, you go to the grocery store, now prices are through the roof. Crops or food that you normally would see on the shelves is not there. I did not write this article so that you would panic. Yes, incredibly hard times are coming. If you will recall, the 1930s were also a time when the U.S. experienced extraordinary dry weather conditions and a tremendous amount of financial turmoil. We could very well be entering a similar time period. Worrying about this drought is not going to change anything. Instead of worrying, we should all be doing what we can to store some things up while food is still relatively cheap. Our grandparents and our great-grandparents that lived during the days of the Great Depression knew the wisdom of having a well-stocked food pantry, and it would be wise to follow their examples. And, you know, we've been saying this for a long time now, for many years, to make sure that you have water and food stocked up for a time. Not for years and years and years to last, but at least for a month, maybe 2 months, so that when this happens, because we've seen the panic at the supermarkets before when the weather gets bad, when the EBT system has a glitch in it and people raid the grocery stores and it's every man for himself, and within a matter of hours, there's nothing left. You don't want to get caught up in all of that. You don't want to be somebody who has nothing to sustain yourself off of for a time when that happens. You don't want to be caught up in any of that. This is another reason why they're packing everybody into these cities, why they want you to move out of the country and into these cities, so that you don't know what's going on the outside. You don't live in the farms. You don't live in the countryside. You don't know how bad it is. As long as you are living in the cities, you have the TV to continue to entertain you, tell you everything is okay, to tell you go out and shop, go out and spend, get further in debt, do this, do that, this distraction, that distraction. When it's the countryside is where we should be living. All right, so again, this article didn't say anything about the Bible. It just confirms what the Bible has been saying for a long time now, and what we've been teaching out of the Bible for a long time now, of what's to come to America. And there will be famine across the whole world. But understand that America must fall first. There is famine happening across the whole world. All right, but understand the actual plan that they have for America. Understand that the Most High has a plan for America. Now, if people think that it's just isolated to California and that it's not that big a deal, the next article, let me get it here one moment. Naturalnews.com. Americans start drinking sewer water as droughts take toll nationwide. February 28, 2014. There is a saying that goes, desperate times call for desperate measures. And clearly city officials in one drought-stricken Texas town are getting desperate. According to the CBS News affiliate in Dallas-Fort Worth, one North Texas community may serve up recycled sewer water to residents because of prolonged dry conditions in the region. Wichita Falls is 2 hours outside of Dallas. 3 years ago, 88% of Texas was under exceptional drought conditions. That's the worst classification of drought. Today, there are just 2 small areas that still have designation, and the city of Wichita Falls is one of them. The report said that nearby Lake Arrowhead gave a clear indication of just how bad the drought has become. Though it is one of the town's main sources of water, it is currently only at about 27% capacity, officials said. If you look over the banks, you can see boat docks that are some 10 to 15 feet above dry land, and the nearest water to them is hundreds of feet away. Discovery News reported that the current drought is the 3rd worst on record for Texas. So you have the 1st worst drought on record for California, and it's being said the 3rd worst on record for Texas. Now, real quick, when I was younger, I think maybe in high school, we took a field trip to a waste disposal plant, a place that actually recycles water back into the environment from the actual sewage, a sewage treatment facility. And I vividly remember we were going through the whole tour, and one of the workers told us that, you know, they were showing the whole process of how they recycled the water, and he said, you know, this water, you could actually, you could drink it after we finish it, recycling it, but because of FDA and different government standards that were in place at the time, that they weren't allowed to do that, that they had to actually take that water and dump it back into lakes and let it mix back in with the environment and go through the whole filtration process from that point to come over to your drinking water. But now, as we're reading with this article, is that they're having to bypass that whole process of putting it back into the environment. One reason, because there's no water in the environment to mix it with, because it's all dried up. And 2, because it's a very lengthy process, they need the water right then and there. So now people are taking this recycled sewage, cleaning it through the whole system, and then having to drink it. This is how bad it's got for people that think it's not bad. It says here, saving 5 million gallons per day. The lake bed is littered with dead fish and shells. The wind blows. When the wind blows, you're reminded of a dust bowl. There's the dust bowl again. Every time the water in the lake drops, officials in Wichita Falls consider enacting more severe water restrictions. Through conservation efforts, city water usage dropped from between 45 and 50 million gallons of water each day before the drought to 12 million gallons a day now. but the water savings still aren't enough. The reuse system will put 5 million gallons of water back in the distribution system a day, Mayor Glenn Barham told the affiliate. So it saves us taking 5 million gallons out of the lake. North Texas is a region used to droughts, and so Wichita Falls officials began planning for the dire water conditions about 2 years ago. One plan that had been suggested once before, but then dropped, was again up for consideration, taking water straight from the waste treatment facility and sending it to the water treatment plant for additional cleaning, then into the water system. Now, there's a big black pipe that snakes through town connecting the city's wastewater facility to the water treatment plant, the report said. Currently, the city is in the process of completing 45 days of testing. They send the results to the State Environment Quality Department. Once there, the department will take 30 days to decide whether the water is safe enough to put directly into the tap. All right, and that's just what they're telling you. This isn't taking into account of what they're not telling you they're doing with the water. Because chances are they could already be doing this. The program could go live as early as April, officials said, adding that so far, regarding the testing, things are going well. So understand the level of what they have to go to just to keep things going and sustaining in America. Look at the type of water you have to drink, the type of water that you have to bathe in and wash your clothes in and your dishes in, the type of food that you have to eat, the GMOs. Because remember, the Georgia Guidestones tell us that to keep humanity in perpetual balance with nature, they must lower the population down to 500 million people, which is a 90% reduction in population. All right, so the squeeze is on. This is the squeeze that they're putting forward to bring this into fruition. Potty water. We evaluated the wastewater first to see what kind of quality we would be dealing with. The wastewater quality coming out of that plant was very high. So we didn't have a lot of things to deal with. Public Utilities Operations Manager Daniel Nix told the affiliate, such high quality test results mean the city did not have to put a whole lot of effort into turning the wastewater into something that residents would be able to drink or want to drink. And as Discovery News pointed out, NASA uses a more direct toilet-to-tap system on the space station. But will residents drink up? A number of residents whom the CBS affiliate talked to said no thanks. They'll stick to the bottled or filtered water they are currently using. Still, most residents understand the city is in dire straits and needs to do something. I'm happy about it because we're concerned here about our water levels and whether or not we're going to have water, said resident Juanita Dean. All right, so again, I think we've been reading these articles on the drought and the water conditions in America for at least a month or two now. And as you can see, things continue to deteriorate. Things continue to worsen. These are the plagues the scriptures tell us that would be upon Babylon. Jeremiah 50 tells us that her springs are dried up. Her water and her lakes, her rivers are dried up because it is a land of graven images and they are mad upon their idols. So because America is a high idolatrous society, this is one of the plagues that comes with that. And again, they're going to continue to prop it up until they're ready to pull the rug from under the feet of the American people. The question is, who is going to be prepared when that day comes? Who is going to be spiritually prepared? Who is going to be mentally and physically prepared when that day comes? This is what Matthew 24 the Messiah was warning us about. This is Revelations 18. John the Revelator was warning us about, to be prepared, praying and watching always. All right, now, so with that comes famine. The drought comes famine. It also comes pestilence, because now you're drinking sewage water. You're bathing in it. You're dealing with water that's meant to be put back into the environment before it's to be made to be drunk or filtered again before you can use it. It brings pestilence, brings disease, to mix in with all the other things that they're giving us, like the chemtrails in the air, the GMO, everything. It's like pretty much what in America isn't GMO. The air is GMO. Snow is GMO. The rain, the food. Also, Matthew 24 tells us, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So right now you have a situation going on in Ukraine where you have a civil war. The same thing that we've seen happen over the years with Egypt, Libya. It's happening in Syria. It's sweeping this whole Middle Eastern region, spreading it into Europe. Civil war. And understand what you see happening is engineered and manufactured by the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's not by chance that this is happening. No sooner than this happens, America jumps in. They have something to say about it, what they think, their opinion. Then Russia jumps in. Now you have Russia against America. You have this propped up, deceptive, enemy versus enemy in America and Russia, which is not the case. Russia and America are not enemies, but through the media and through their propaganda, this is what they portray, Russia and America as enemies. Russia sending 150,000 troops to Ukraine, sending the submarines and their navy into the seas around Ukraine, saying that if America does this or does that, it could lead to World War III. America's saying the same. So here we got it, wars and rumors of wars. And know that it wasn't coincidence that the Winter Olympics were held in Russia, that Edward Snowden fled to Russia for asylum, that they're not using Russia as a key piece in everything that they're doing to destabilize the Middle East and bring about their New World Order and bringing the power back to the 10 horns in the European Union. All this going on, and Syria is under the radar, which leads us to our next article. It comes off the dailystar.com. U.S.-Syria play blame game over Geneva peace talks, February 17, 2014. Syrian and American officials traded blame Sunday for the failure of last week's round of Geneva II peace talks, which sought an end to a 3-year conflict that has claimed more than 140,000 lives, according to the latest estimates by pro-opposition activists. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry blamed obstruction by the regime of President Bashar Assad for the breakdown in talks. None of us are surprised that the talks have been hard and that we are at a difficult moment, but we should all agree that the Assad regime's obstruction has made progress even tougher, Kerry said. In a statement, Kerry urged the regime's supporters to press for the creation of a transitional government, warning that they would bear the responsibility if the regime continues with its intransigence in the talks and its brutal tactics on the ground. The peace talks broke off Saturday with no tangible result, and no date was set for a third round. But Kerry said Washington remained committed to Geneva processes in all diplomatic efforts to find a political solution. There's no recess in the suffering of the Syrian people, and the parties and the international community must use the recess in the Geneva talks to determine how best to use this time and its resumption to find a political solution to this horrific civil war. So notice that every single situation where you have conflict going on within these countries, America's right there. America's in everybody's business to let you know that America has their hand in all of these situations. America is behind all of these situations, and here they come with the solution. As if America doesn't have its own problems. You have cities like Detroit who are bankrupt, have no money, and instead of America giving money to help out Detroit, it'll take billions and now say, well, we'll give it to Ukraine. So how does that make any sense to where you won't help your own country and your own people, but yet you'll take that money and now go pump it in? The reason being is because the American dollar is the world reserve currency. America is in debt. So it borrows money from the Federal Reserve, prints it up with the printing press, and then sends that money to Ukraine to further expand that debt, to now put that debt now on Ukraine. The same way they did with Egypt, the same way they're doing with all the other countries. It's putting this debt on all of these countries, so when the economic collapse happens in America, it happens worldwide. All the countries' economies fall. And you have to bring in the new system. You have to bring in the mark of the beast. And for those who may remember, when we spoke about America being the new Atlantis in our past broadcast months ago, we talked about Sir Francis Bacon, and we talked about those founders who founded America and how this was their goal the whole time, was to make America into the superpower financially and militarily, so that they could actually fulfill this agenda of bringing the whole world under a new world order through America. They couldn't do it under ancient Rome. They couldn't do it under that format. They had to do it under America. Once they get rid of America, now Rome can take that role back that it had, the 10 horns, still under the fourth beast in the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 7. It says here, more than 140,000 people have died and millions have been driven from their homes since the conflict began. The Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which gave the new casualty estimate Saturday, said nearly 5,800 people have been killed since the Geneva talks began on January 22nd. For his part, Syrian's foreign minister accused the U.S. of trying to create a negative climate for dialogue at the second round of peace talks. Walid al-Muallim made his remarks to state news agency SANA during the government delegation's return to Damascus. He said the United States tried to create a very negative climate for dialogue in Geneva. The second round did not fail, contrary to media analyses that have appeared in the reactions of the foreign ministers for France and Britain. Muallim added, UN Arab League mediator Lakhdar Brahimi ended the Geneva round Saturday without finding a way of breaking the impasse. Brahimi told a news conference that both sides agreed that the agenda for the next round should focus on 4 points: ending the violence and terrorism, creating a transitional governing body, building national institutions, and reconciliation. Now, just to bring to light what's going on here with Syria, with these talks, understand that America is buying time, that they are the same thing they're doing with the economy, the same thing they're doing with the crops and the food supply is they are setting the stage so that all of these events collapse and happen at the same time. So they're stringing along this Syrian situation the same way they're stringing along all the other situations until the right moment that they can make them all happen simultaneously to overwhelm the world and the masses. That's what all this is that's happening and going on. All right, so there's a little bit more here to this article, but I'm not going to read it. We're going to actually continue on. And speaking of war and the military and Babylon, we spoke the last broadcast about America's or Babylon's troops being cut off, that her men of war would be cut off. And the next article that we have here, we're going to actually go into what's going on with the military now in America. All right, but before we do, one quick commercial break, and when we return, we'll go right into the next news piece here.
Do you have a talent, a company, or a service to render? Would you like an avenue to get the word out? Well, GOCC Blog Talk Radio would like to connect with you to help fulfill your vision. Don't have a clear direction on where to go? It's okay. GOCC Blog Talk Radio can assist you with making your very own commercial. Call us now at 1-888-334-3330 and be on your way to the expansion of your business. That's 1-888-334-3330. GOCC Blog Talk Radio Station, starting the foundations for the building blocks of life. GOCC members at special rates.
All right, so Shabbat Shalom. Let's go back now and discuss about America's military. You had a recent statement made by Chuck Hagel, the Defense Secretary of America. And he made a statement saying that America is now cutting its troops and military down to what I believe like pre-World War II levels, saying that they're going to reduce now the military. You'd ask yourself, okay, well, what does this mean? Well, the next article should shed some light on what this means. So we have here the Telegraph pro vehicle. The American military still offers ideas under discussion instead include proposals to see manned lorries and transporters replaced by supply train of robot vehicles. Generals are studying proposals as the U.S. Army is down from 540,000 to about 490 more robots, according to news, a U.S. military minister. He told a military symposium, I've got clear guidance to think about what is the robotically formed task in terms of maneuverability, in terms of the future of the force. Options under discussion, he said, included trains of robot vehicles that would following vehicles with human drivers and long supply convoys. He said the Army should also follow the lead of the Navy in using technology to cut manpower. So again, we're starting to see jobs being cut, because understand within the military these are jobs. Because again, it's all about population reduction. Replace people with robots. As people start to die off, you're going to have something there to replace that manpower. So this is the agenda of the Illuminati, is the robotic and the transhumanist agenda. It says, when you see the success, frankly, that the Navy has had in terms of lowering the numbers of people on ships and their functions in the brigade, we could automate robots or manned, unmanned teaming and lower the number of people that are involved, given the fact that people are our major cost. Immediate plans for autonomous robots to be deployed with legal power. Hugh Williams, an expert on military robots and unmanned vehicles at Defense Publication, I.A. James, said armies were focusing on investigating robots, vehicles for transport. He said if you have a lead manned vehicle, you could have several unmanned vehicles following behind, or a train solely of unmanned vehicles. Research into remote control military vehicles has so far largely concentrated on allowing commanders to keep soldiers out of harm's way, but they could also see a reduction in the number of troops, he added. Several robot ground vehicles have already been tested in Afghanistan, including the Squad Mission Support System, a six-wheeled robotic buggy to carry soldiers, kit, and baggage. America has meanwhile waged an aggressive drone campaign targeting insurgents and al-Qaeda terrorists in the border regions of Pakistan. Campaigners claim the secretive campaign has killed hundreds of civilians. Britain already has hundreds of remotely piloted drone aircraft, ranging from tiny surveillance helicopters to large Reaper drones armed with deadly Hellfire missiles. The rise of the new technologies provoke fears of future battlefields, one day stalked by unaccountable robotic killing machines. And in 2012, Human Rights Watch called for a preemptive ban on killer robots. Former U.S. Commander General Stanley McChrystal, who oversaw NATO forces in Afghanistan, warned yesterday America's drones program created resentment in the areas it targeted. Asked by the BBC Today program, one moment. Asked by the BBC Today's program what the future was for drone warfare, he said, there's a danger that something that feels easy to do and without risk to yourself, almost antiseptic to the person shooting, doesn't feel that way at the point of impact. And so, if it lowers the threshold for taking operations because it feels easy, there's danger in that. All right, so to sum it all up, basically by saying we'll put robots in place to fight these battles now in the battlefield, you have the potential to have less loss of human life. And this, in turn, will appeal to the masses and the public perception of it's a good thing. Less people dying. The same thing with drones. You put drones in the sky, a drone comes down and kills somebody. It's more of a perception that it was a machine that killed the person and not an actual person that killed the person. So it's psychology. At the same time, again, we're moving into the new age, the transhumanist era. Daniel chapter 2 tells us of the iron mixed with the miry clay. The cyborgs, replacing men with robots and men becoming God. Because again, when you have the drought, you have the famine, you have the pestilences, you have the population reduction agenda at place, you're going to lose population. So it's a two-pronged approach. On one hand, you reduce the population through these methods, and on the other hand, now you replace the population with robots. You have no need for these people. These people can't work. There's no jobs. They're useless eaters. They're just taking up space. The world is too populated. These are the claims of these eugenicists, people like Bill Gates. These transhumanists, those over at Google, Ray Kurzweil. All right. So, and they use Hollywood as a way to condition the masses. They use Hollywood, they use video games, using all of these different entertainment avenues to now get you to accept robots as being cool. Being a cyborg is cool. Transhumanism is cool. You know, they have a movie out, Iron Man, with the iron suit. They have the new RoboCop that just came out, to whereas now you can just become a machine. Should something happen to you, just merge with the machine. Become a god. Become like a god. And when they put these movies out, they put them out certain times, certain dates, to line up perfectly with their agenda. For instance, the RoboCop recently came out February 12th. So you had another article that was released, and it was released the day before RoboCop came out. And it's not so much the day the article came out. This is the time that the military put this information out, right in league with the movie RoboCop being put out in theaters. All right, the next article, defensetech.org. It says here, Admiral, Iron Man prototypes coming in June. February the 11th, 2014. The head of U.S. Special Operations Command said the first prototypes of a new Iron Man-like protective suit could be ready for testing this summer. Navy Admiral William McRaven said 3 unpowered prototypes of the so-called Tactical Assault Light Operator Suit, known in military parlance as Talos, and dubbed the Iron Man suit after the one worn by the Marvel Comics superhero, are being assembled and expected to be delivered in June. The plan is to evaluate the technology with the goal of fielding a system by August 2018, he said. That suit, if done correctly, will yield a revolutionary improvement in survivability and capability for special operators. McRaven said during the 25th Annual Special Operations and Low Intensity Conflict Conference on Tuesday in Washington, D.C. The 3-day event continues Wednesday and was organized by the National Defense Industrial Association, an Arlington, VA-based trade group. The technology may eventually include a powered exoskeleton, advanced full-body armor, and situational awareness displays, according to the command's official request for information. The idea for the project came about several years ago after a member of Special Operations Forces was shot and killed while entering the door of a suspected insurgent, McRaven said. A young officer asked him a question he couldn't answer. After all these years in combat, why isn't there a way to better protect operators going through the door? With all the advance in modern technology, I know we can do better, McRaven said. Operations, 16 government agencies, 13 universities, and 10 national laboratories are working on the program, McRaven said. We are already seeing astounding results of this collaboration. The command also has plans to hold a Monster Garage event to encourage mechanics and master craftsmen alike to develop components for the suit, McRaven said. It may also seek authority from the Pentagon to distribute prize money to generate even more interest in the effort. The Applied Technology Project has the potential to provide the U.S. with a huge comparative advantage over our enemies and give our warriors the protection they need, McRaven said. So again, this is how they get you to accept the new age of transhumanism, of cyborgs and merging men with machines. First things first, put a man in an Iron Man suit. Get you used to accepting a man looking like a robot and having robot-type powers. They show this in the upcoming movie, Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow, a movie with Tom Cruise. And let me look up the date here and see when this movie comes out and see if it lines up any with this article. Edge of Tomorrow, let's see, June 6, 2014. And this prototype for this suit is said to come out in June. So this suit, which is almost, which you would think, completely similar to the suit that Tom Cruise has on this movie, Edge of Tomorrow, is being delivered in June to the military the same month that this movie comes out. And this announcement was made just a day or so before the new RoboCop came out. Because once they get you used to a man in an iron suit, now they can get you used to a man being merged with that iron suit, like in RoboCop, to where now it's more of a cyborg effect, man mixed with machine, Mary Clay mixed with the iron. All of this is programming and conditioning for the mark of the beast. And it's just amazing how they're putting it in right in our face and making it seem cool. And people are accepting it and looking at it as, this is cool. The next article we have here, going right along, because again, wars and rumors of wars are going to lead to actual world war, major war. So you have to have now a new type of fighter on the battlefield. You have to have a superpower, a super soldier, just like Hitler was trying to create. Superman. Just like in June, I believe you have the new X-Men coming out. Also, dailymail.co.uk. Want to become a cyborg? The technology that could give you supervision, let you pick up a car, and even plug yourself into your computer. January 30th, 2014. Technology has the potential to augment, improve, and even replace every aspect of our body, from our vital organs to our legs. A new remake of the movie RoboCop, out February 12th, shows us a future where technology and human become one. But the expert age of the cyborg is already upon us. With everything from smart contact lenses that could improve our vision to exoskeletons that give us superhuman strength, cyborgs are set to become a big part of our future. He believes technology will be able to boost our brain power, giving us true superhuman capabilities. Based on conservative estimates of the amount of computation you need to functionally simulate a human brain, we'll be able to expand the scope of our intelligence a billion-fold, he claims. Kurzweil believes Moore's laws, which state that the power of computing doubles, on average, every 2 years, will be key, and that advances in genetic sequencing and 3D printing are already leading to the practice of improving our bodies with tech. Supervision, the ability to see like a hawk and watch TV wherever you are. For those of us without 20/20 vision, the era of LASIK and other surgery has already brought improvement, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. Last week, Google revealed a radical smart contact lens for diabetics, tears and warning them if levels drop. The search giant said it hoped to develop other apps for the smart contact lens, which could one day even show wearers other types of information. Many believe they will ultimately lead to smart lenses that contain the components of Google's Glass wearable computer, giving the wearer a screen right in their eye. This could, in theory, give us everything from superhuman-style zoom vision capabilities to the ability to constantly have updates pumped into our eye. And I'm pretty sure your everyday person and citizen is like, oh, this is cool. I want that. I mean, these are things as a kid you would think was just sci-fi and it probably never happened, at least not for hundreds and hundreds of years, but that it would be cool. As a kid, this is how you would think. But now that you grow up and are older and you look at these things and you know the truth, you're looking at this and you're like, you know, this is Twilight Zone. You know, this is an invasion of the body snatchers. Like, you know, we're in a total matrix because this is where the world is going, and we are the guinea pigs. We are helping to fund this beast technology, contact lenses, asking for the Google glasses, asking for the cars that drive themselves, asking for the Iron Man suit so that we can be Iron Man and be super strong, instead of understanding that the Most High already made us perfect the way we are, that we don't need this technology associated or affiliated within our anatomy. But again, the movies, the video games, they continue to bombard our subliminals and our subconscious. Be so easy for people to accept the mark of the beast. All of these things is too overwhelming. They've manufactured the perfect zombie. The day of the living dead. It says here, and even the smart contact lenses are only a stopgap, say scientists. Eventually, many claim we will simply be able to send the information directly into our vision nerves, using technology already being utilized to help the blind see. When the Messiah, in order to help the blind see, simply prayed and did miracles to make the blind see. This is the power that we should be tapping into, not into technology, the mixing of iron with merry clay. But again, this world is in no way, shape, or form trying to go in any direction towards tapping into the power of the Most High through His Son. exoskeletons giving us super strength and the power to crush a car with one clench of a fist. Superhuman strength is something we've all dreamed of, and thanks to technology, it's on the way. We already have basic exoskeletons that can help the elderly and disabled walk, and they are beginning to be used to give us super strength. One robotic device invented by engineering students could help its wearer carry an additional 40 pounds. Instead of feeling the full weight of the body, the robot arm would make lifting a child feel as easy as lifting a cup of tea. Titan Arm is designed for ordinary people, those who need either physical rehabilitation or a little extra muscle for their job. In technical terms, the apparatus is an unearthed upper body exoskeleton. To the layman, it's essentially a battery-powered arm brace attached to a single mechanized joint, the elbow, giving the user a 40-pound boost in strength. The team decided to use a cable drive system which works in a similar way to the brakes on a bike. The arm draws power from a battery pack that could be worn on the back, while handheld joystick controls motorized cables that raise and lower the arm. Sensors measure the wearer's range of motion to help keep track of their progress. Future versions are likely to be even more powerful and dump the joysticks for direct connections to our brain so we can control them by thought. And this is what the Mark of the Beast is going to be able to do, to put the chip in your brain so now that you can control types of devices and exoskeletons with your mind. And it's crazy because the Illuminati will even put these things in movies and show us, like with Terminator, and show us that Cyberdyne, which was the company that was developing these type of prosthetic limbs, was there the same way. They're laying it out right now for us in reality, that it's just to help those who can't walk, the elderly, give them strength. You know, this is how they put it out, but then it always turns bad. From there, now Cyberdyne is taken over by Skynet, and the machines have totally taken over and are at war against the people, against mankind. And it turns into something way worse than that. They show the same thing in the movie RoboCop. At first, it's just for prosthetic limbs. But then once these small companies get absorbed by these major corporations, the government, the Pentagon, now it becomes for the military. Now it becomes something far greater than what it originally said it was for. So you think that we would learn from what they're showing us just in their movies. But the movies are there to condition us to accept, easier to accept this new age and technology that's coming upon us. So it's easy to see that people are clearly under a spell, because who is speaking out against it? They're already telling you the Army is developing an Iron Man suit. Nobody has anything to say about it. Reading on, it says, plugging yourself directly into a computer has been a staple of science fiction films for decades, and the reality is getting closer by the day. The most commonly used neural implants are cochlear implants, approved by the FDA in 1984, and retinal implants, both pioneered in the 1960s and proven effective at partially restoring hearing and vision respectively. However, they are very basic, and researchers are already working on ways to advance it. Our team says that the popular film approach of a massive cable into the back of your head may not work, just like they show in the movie Elysium. University of California, Berkeley scientists have proposed a system that allows for thousands of ultra-tiny neural dust chips to be inserted into the brain to monitor neuroscience at high resolution and communicate data highly efficiently via ultrasound without the need for a plug in the back of your head. There's also the possibility of using neural implants to remotely control a person, which is their whole goal the whole time, is to control the minds of people. This is Satan's whole goal. That's why when you take the mark of the beast, you are condemned to hell and hellfire, because you're no longer yourself. You no longer have control. You have become an abomination to the Most High's creation. You have defiled his image, because he made us in his image. So to take on any type of this technology would basically be telling the Most High, he is not perfect. Creating us in his image was not good enough, that we can do better. That's basically what you're saying. So with that type of abominable mockery towards the Most High, why should you be allowed salvation? For those who say it's okay to take the mark of the beast, that's the new doctrine that's going on within the Christian church, that you can take the mark of the beast and still be saved. You can still receive salvation. You can still repent after taking the mark of the beast. That's what the Christian church is pushing now. Michigan-based Backyard Brains has already created an electric backpack that fits into a cockroach and makes it turn on command using electric impulses. And the firm has now begun selling DIY kits, meaning anyone can use the technology at home. The Robo-Roach simulates the creature's antenna and forces it to turn left and right at the flick of a switch. And the backpack links with a smartphone app that is used as the remote control. So now they got the technology small enough to put on insects and control insects. Is what this is just what they're letting us know. So it's only, to the minds thinking what they're not telling us. But just imagine what they could do with that type of technology to control insects with these microchips. To show you that if they can do it to insects, they can do it to you. Giving yourself an extra limb is something you've probably never considered, but many believe that in the future we may choose to improve our own limbs with smart computer-controlled versions. However, in the shorter term, these gadgets are helping many who have lost limbs to perform everyday tasks, and they are getting smarter by the week. One prosthetic technology company has created a hand which is so advanced that it can be controlled using a smartphone app. And that's the reason why they are pushing smartphones now, getting you used to these smartphones. Touch Bionics iLimb Ultra Revolution prosthetic hand also features a rotating thumb, 5 individually powered fingers, a rotatable wrist, and aluminum chassis. The company claims it is the most dexterous prosthetic hand ever made, and the wearer of the hand can use an app to choose one of 24 different grips. Alternatively, the hand can be controlled by muscle signals. Electrodes in the wrist pick up electrical impulses created by contracting muscles, and these are interpreted by a computer in the back of the hand. And the computer then moves the hand into any of a series of preset patterns. We could also see technology helping regrow limbs. So now they're bringing forth technology to help you regrow. Let's say you've lost a finger or a hand or an arm. Now they're introducing technology that can help you regrow what you've lost. Man becoming God. That's what this is all coming down to. Ancient Babylon and the Tower of Babel, now fast forward to modern day Babylon and the Tower of Babel, overthrowing God. God isn't good enough. Man is greater than God by becoming God. Earlier this year, doctors from Cornell University used 3D printing to create a prosthetic ear using cells of cartilage. A solid plastic mold was printed and then filled with high-density collagen gel. The researchers then added cartilage cells into the collagen matrix. Nanomedicine, tiny technology that can deliver drugs anywhere in the body. One of the most exciting areas of medicine is the use of nanotech. Tiny, smart particles that can be delivered anywhere in the body. For example, an experimental lung cancer treatment uses nanoparticles that are inhaled by aerosol, settling in diseased areas of the lungs using an external magnet. The particles are then superheated, killing the diseased cells. So now, again, talked about nanotechnology in the past. Now they want to put small microchips in your body and say it's there to heal you, which we should be able to easily connect with Obamacare, with the fact that the literature and what's in it with the Class 2 and Class 3 radio devices. So it only makes sense that they would use healthcare to push this and implement their mark of the beast. Experts say the technology has the potential to revolutionize medicine and lead to new types of drugs that can boost our muscles, fight cancer, and change every aspect of our body. One Texas team has created super strong artificial muscles that could bring science fiction technology to life. Super strong robots, clothes that get warmer when it's cold, and blinds that close themselves when it's sunny are just some of the artificial muscle potential uses, say the technology's creators. Made from nanotech yarns and infused with paraffin wax, the muscles can lift more than 100,000 times their own weight and generate 85 times more power than the same size human muscle. Upload your brain and live in the virtual world. Ray Kurzweil, a well-known futurist and engineer at Google, is of the opinion that by 2040 to 2045, we will be able to literally upload the contents of our consciousness into a computer. Kurzweil is also a believer in the singularity, a hypothetical moment in time when artificial intelligence will have progressed to the point of a greater than human intelligence, radically changing civilization and perhaps human nature, its supporters say. While it may seem like a sci-fi movie plot waiting to happen, one Russian billionaire has revealed controversial plans to upload his own brain and become immortal by 2045. So a Russian billionaire says he plans to become immortal and upload his brain by 2045. 32-year-old Dmitry Iskov believes technology will allow him to live forever in a hologram body. And this is exactly what they show in the movie Lawnmower Man. And I believe they have a new movie coming out where they actually are remaking Lawnmower Man with a different name that's similar to what we're reading here. His 2045 initiative is described as the next step in evolution, and over 20,000 people have signed up on Facebook to follow its progress, with global conferences planned to explore the technology needed. The initiative also believes the first generation of android bodies will have superhuman capability. The new human being will receive a huge range of abilities and will be capable of withstanding extreme external conditions easily. high temperatures, pressure, radiation, lack of oxygen, etc. Using a neural interface, humans will be able to operate several bodies of various forms and sizes remotely. Power to make yourself invisible, although you'll need a Harry Potter-style cloak to do it. Always near the top of any superpower wish list, researchers already have working invisibility cloaks. However, they do leave more than a little to be desired at the moment. In one of the most recent examples, engineers surrounded an object with small antennas that collectively radiate an electromagnetic field, canceling out waves scattered off of it. The University of Toronto researchers believe their innovation could be used to hide military vehicles and to conduct surveillance operations. And as the technology advances, it could also be adapted to make objects invisible to the human eye too. Others are working on different approaches, such as screens that simply use a camera to record what's behind you, then play it on a screen. Relatively low tech, but early trials have been effective. Overall, it seems invisibility may be some way off, but there are some translating clues that perhaps one day Harry Potter's favorite trick could be available to us mere muggles. And it's crazy, or should I say right on time, that they compare it to Harry Potter, because that's exactly what that is, being able to cloak yourself and make yourself invisible is straight witchcraft. All right, so we're seeing all the technology that the beast is revealing to us, that it has at its disposal, that it's working on to further perfect. And again, they're always 50 to 100 years further advanced in technology than what we see and what we know. So I'm pretty sure that it's quite unimaginable what technology they really have and what they're about to do. And again, this is all a part of the deception that Satan has. These are the tools he has at his disposal to bring forth this great deception that the Messiah warned about in Matthew 24 of letting no man deceive us. And that many shall come saying that they are Christ and shall deceive many. Seeing that this has nothing to do with Christ at all. All right. Now there's some more I could go into here, but I think we'll save that for maybe next week, because we did speak upon this subject in a pretty lengthy time. So basically, it talked about Google, and we talked about Google before, but just when you really do the research on Google, you will learn that Google basically is the beast in a nutshell as far as technology is concerned. Everything that Google is doing now is designed to watch you, to surveil you with surveillance, and to replace you with machines or to make you into a cyborg. That's pretty much what Google is become. It started out as just a computer search engine, but that was a smokescreen. That was its way of getting in and making you think that, Google is a good company. Whereas now, watching the movies like Terminator and RoboCop, you see how Google has literally become Skynet. Google has become Cyberdyne technology in the movie Terminator, to where Cyberdyne Technology was a prosthetic company that now is being taken over by Skynet and is completely run by machines. It's crazy, but so we'll save that information for next week. Be the Most High's will. And we have about 45 minutes left before we go to the overtime hour. So any news that you brothers and sisters have that want to bring out, any comments, questions, anything you want to discuss, with the rest of the time open for you all. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and play a couple tracks, and when we come back, we'll go straight to the call lines. We have the phone number 646-200-4309. All right, anything you want to add, just simply press 1, and we will bring you in after this break. All right, and we'll be right back.
May the moment I found the truth, that we were the real Jews, the real Hebrew Israelites, that the Most High loved us more than any other nation, the ones living in the ghettos and the slums. You would thought we were forsaken, but we were chosen. They said we were the Gentiles. The Most High came into my spirit and showed me who I was. Listen. The moment I found the truth, I fell in love. That I cried all night over the scripture. That I didn't know that a higher loved us this much. I fell down on my knees and gave thanks for all of His love and mercy. When I found the truth, I fell in love with a higher. When I found the truth, I fell in love. Fell in love with wisdom and knowledge. I found the truth. The moment I found the truth, I fell in love. Oh, yeah. Said I was reading His word, and I just broke down and said, I broke down and said, that He circumcised my heart that night. That it felt so real. Now my spirit can live. Now my spirit can live. I fell in love. That I fell in love with the higher. I fell in love with His wisdom and all of His knowledge. Hey, I found the truth. I fell in love. Fell in love. Everything started making sense. Everything started to make sense. Identified with the people that was in the Bible. That I cried all night, just seeing how much the Most High loved me. Deuteronomy 28, verse 58. I couldn't sleep. That's us, man. That's all I wanted to do was read and keep it true. When I found the truth, I fell in love. You don't understand about this kind of love. I fell in love. It's nothing like you'll ever find. Hey, when I found the truth, I love you. When I found the truth, I couldn't put the book down. Think I couldn't put the book down. I couldn't put the book down. I flipped from page to page, searching for the truth. And I cried, oh I cried, 'cause I didn't know the Most High loved me. They did burn. He is to spill all over the scripture. Yeah, I fell in love with the higher. He was who I was searching for. But I just didn't know it. That's why I want to tell you about this kind of love. Yeah. It's the best love you'll ever find.
Shalom. We are back, and you are listening to Friday Night Sabbath, coming out of Babylon, here on blogtalkradio.com for the Gathering of Christ Church. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the phone lines. Again, guest caller number is 646-200-4309. If you have a comment or a question, simply press 1, and we will take your call. All right, let's go ahead and go over to, we have the first caller from the 973. We got Brother Kyle with a comment and a question. You're on the air.
How you doing, Elder?
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. You know that scripture where it talks about when Christ comes back and that the armies of the world, they'll fight him, but they'll be scared?
I believe so.
Familiar with that one?
Yeah, you wanting to know where it's located?
Well, no, I was thinking about that because you're talking about the cyborgs and things like that. Like, they're trying to build these bodies to battle Christ when they come back, because the scripture was saying something about how the bodies that the people get when they meet up with Christ, they change, how they'll be able to fall on a sword and not die. If I'm correct about that, right?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do, is build their army up to fight, because they know they're going to be fighting against the heavenly host, against, legions of angels. So they're definitely, that's a good point, trying to get themselves prepared for that final battle.
Well, the reason I brought that up is because, I was, I'm always playing video games. That's, one of my hobbies. And one of the games I was playing, you play as a cyborg, and you're going against other cyborgs. And your main character looks at himself as a hero, and he's trying to take on these big corporations or whatever. And there's one part where the enemy puts it in his face that the people he's killing don't really have the free will that he thought they had. And in a battle, what he does is that their thoughts, he, implants it into his head. So while he's fighting these people, they have nanomachines suppressing their fear. So on the outside, they're cursing at him and attacking him. On the inside, they're going, oh, man, why did I sign up for this? I just wanted to take care of my family. I had no idea what I was getting into. And, so now his conscience is messing with him, man. He's trying to cut down these men. And it made me think of that scripture, because it said that they would be scared, but they would still fight. And I remember thinking, well, how would they be afraid of Christ, but then still fight him? You know what I mean? Like, that's not how fear works, not how I know. But then I saw that, and I just, got chilled. I was like, wow, that's sick. And I think that's what they're going to do. They have technology that can suppress fear and suppress pain.
Right.
So, it's like they'll be inside of themselves, watching themselves do these things, but they really won't have any control.
Right. Right. What game is this?
This is Metal Gear Revengeance or something like that.
Oh, so you're a cyborg in that one.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like a cyborg. And they showed, I remember seeing videos on YouTube of these two-legged, Android things they had, and they had the same things in a video game. And I remember when they were talking about the whole transhumanist agenda and having robots on the battlefield, I saw those things, and I said, wait a minute, that's the same thing from this video game I had played. And I was like, they look so similar. And I was like, man, how are these video game guys getting, this type of information? Where are they getting, these blueprints from? And, these things can move, man. They're going to need some crazy technology to fight against the bodies that we're supposed to get, because I'm hearing these bodies are supposed to be superior to androids anyway.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's superior to all of technology or whatever Satan can try to muster up. It doesn't even stand a chance. But of course, in their mind, they figure that just the same way that those that built the tower in the times of ancient Babel, they could go and fight against the Most High, build the tower up into the heavens, and overthrow him. It's no different than now in the end. They think the same. And, this is, and it's crazy because everywhere you look, I mean, it's like this is all you see now, like from movies to TV series, to video games. Everything is centered around machines, cyborgs, transhumanists, being mutants or we being as a god, the supreme knowledge. They got the TV series out. I don't know if anybody's seen it, called The Almost Human.
Yeah, where the game partner, human cop with a cyborg. Well, no, he's not even a cyborg. He's completely a robot.
Yeah, he's a robot, but they're trying to make him human. So he's a robot that they're trying to make human.
Yeah. They try to make him have like more human emotions and things like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know what?
Exactly.
It was like that was the old movie, Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams. Remember, he started off as a robot and he was their maid, and slowly they started changing him over and making him human towards the end of the movie. And at the end, he was able to grow old. He fell in love with a human woman and grew old with her and died.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that. It's been a minute to try to, see what you're saying. But, yeah, it definitely sounds about the same. And that's what they're trying to push upon people with these shows, is to get you to accept it, like with the new RoboCop, to get you to accept that, hey, like the woman in the movie, her husband is now RoboCop, and, to accept him being a robot and to love him in this abominable form, versus the fact of, when you join up to be a cop, you put your life on the line to know that stuff could happen. You could end up being a vegetable. Yeah. And if that's, how you become, then, where do you draw the line between adding prosthetic limbs to becoming a cyborg? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're flirting.
His wife tries to stay with him. Is that
like in the old one?
Because in the old one,
course,
that didn't happen.
His wife
she
left
knew
him.
She had to move on.
Yeah, his wife left him because she didn't accept him being that. Like, she knew that, there's nothing I can do with this man. He's a robot now. Whereas in the new one, it's the exact opposite. They're trying to push this agenda now, to whereas then it wasn't a big concern to push it, but now it's getting you to accept the agenda, to accept him being a robot. Like, she's all for him being a robot. The movie, like all of these movies, this is what they're trying to do, is to get you to accept it. Like, I don't know if you've seen the movie The Island, where it's dealing with cloning. They're trying to get you to accept cloning and that these are actually people too, that they have rights and that they should be able to live. And so all of these movies now are getting you to step, to the defense of all these abominations and to get your emotions involved to where now you accept them as being human.
I have friends that are just down with it, you know what I mean? Like, I tried to see if I could kind of wake them up, and give them some truth. It's like a boxing match, kind of try to jab my way in there to see, what their defense was like. And, man, they're cool with it. Like, one of them was like, I talked about the chip, and they was like, that would be really, he said that would be really convenient to have that. I wouldn't have to worry about having a credit card and all this stuff.
Yeah, and, that's how they push it. Convenience, and it's cool, and you can become like a god and know all. You can link your brain into the internet, and you don't have to worry about signing in and passwords, and you become super strong. So this is how they're pushing it through the entertainment to get people to accept it.
I mean, he even said he was cool with splicing. If you know what splicing is, it's when you mix animal DNA and human DNA to kind of create like a hybrid creature.
Yeah, they got the movie called Splice.
Yeah,
where, how they push that agenda for you to accept it is, oh, well, she's human too. That's how the movie is, to get you to try to feel emotional about the creature, the abomination they've created, to accept it as being a creation.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So it's total blasphemy what they're doing with these movies and these TV shows. There's another show out called Intelligence, and it's similar to what we were reading with the Google lenses and the Google glasses, to where this man, actually I think he's a police officer, and he has it, either the chip in his brain or the contact lenses, something is giving him the ability to be able to link into all the cameras in the database of the police, so he can like solve crimes. And when he sees somebody, he can actually read their retinal scans and know who they are. He can match up them in the police database for either wanted criminals, and to know whether to arrest them. They also show this
aspect. Movie?
It's called Intelligence. It's a TV show.
They
also show it in the new RoboCop 2. He has the ability to link into all these cameras and solve crimes by linking in. So they're slowly but surely using these forms of entertainment to get you conditioned to accepting it, to where, again, a lot of people, it's going to be a smooth transition over. Like you said, your friends are all for it. Like, people are so much in a zombified mind state that they just walk right into it. It's no big deal. It's just reality to them.
Wow. Man, they have another game called Watch Dogs where you can hack into people's phones and take money from their bank account to buy weapons. And you can use you could do blackouts in the city. Like if you get chased by the police, you can black out the city. Yeah.
He was using like a smartphone, and it's the same thing.
Yeah,
article.
It's basically like a smartphone. Yeah.
Like the article where it was saying that you could use a smartphone app to control your prosthetic limb.
I mean, so people out there in the truth, you can get phones that aren't smartphones. Like, I don't have a smartphone. They still sell, like, last generation phones, brand new.
Right.
They just don't advertise them. But you can get them. You don't have to walk around with a smartphone. And I heard some people say, like, it's like, man, they force you into having a smartphone. Like, no, you really make a decision. Like, if you want to get, like, just a regular phone or a flip phone or something like that, you can get that. You know what I mean? You choose to buy a smartphone. You don't have to do that. You can get something for like $50.
And that's a good point that you make, to where people feel like they're being forced into smartphones when you're not. It's no different than, they make us take vaccinations. No, that's a choice. You don't have to take a vaccination the same way. You don't have to get a smartphone. And it would be wise not to have a smartphone. If you can, all you should need a phone for is making phone calls, maybe text messaging. You don't need all those extra bells and whistles. All that's doing is giving up all your information, letting them know where you're at, everything about you, all your tendencies, and preparing you for the technology that's to come to transition over to it.
Yep. Yeah, but I just wanted to say this in closing because I was thinking a lot about how they try to desensitize violence with a lot of the violent movies and things that are on TV. And I always thought, I was sitting down thinking, I said, this is probably a bad idea on their part, because some of the people that they desensitize to violence will end up in Christ's army, and they'll have to fight against these same people on the battlefield. It's like, and I sit back and look at what Babylon's doing. I kind of look at it like they're digging their own grave. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know how bad they're really making it for themselves. Like, some of these people you're going to have to see again on the other side.
Right.
But I don't know. So, I mean, hopefully people that are involved in it, who haven't been chipped, they get out while they can, because it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for Christ back then at all.
Yeah, and, it's just amazing how everything now, it seems like it's overnight, it has went from sci-fi to sci-fi reality to where now it's no longer just a movie. Like, it's all here, and it's being pushed upon us, like, every day, this new age. So, like you said, we have to just start to disassociate ourselves from all of this technology and start to slowly wean ourselves. Because one day, if you want to be in the Most High's army, you're going to have to walk away from it. If you want to receive salvation, you're going to have to leave off from these gadgets. And they've made it to where we become so dependent upon them, to where you feel like without them you can't live.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even go to, somebody's house now without using your GPS. You become so dependent on it, where before, when I was growing up, you just had to remember how to get there.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't want to take up more time, so I'm going to let somebody else call get in. I know we are running low on time. I want to thank you again for the show, Elder. Shabbat Shalom.
All right, Brother Kyle. Shabbat Shalom and bless you. And if you could press 1, we're going to go over to the 484 area code to Sister Simona with a follow-up.
Hi, everyone, fellow followers of Gathering of Christ Church. Good to hear from you, Ramar. It's been a while. I'd like to go back to the question, or when I brought up about David, his complexion. I found it when he was describing a Josephus in the book.
Okay.
Book
Yeah,
6.
I got my Josephus.
Okay.
right here. Real quick, do you have the blue
Book 6,
book?
chapter 8, verse 1. It's down
Okay.
below, and I can read it
Okay.
to you.
No. Just real quick, sister. Do you have the blue Josephus?
The blue Josephus, the one online. The one
I'm saying
that's
is your
online.
book.
The one that
So
I'm
you're reading-
reading online. That's
Oh, you're reading it
legitimate.
you're reading it online.
GOCC. Through GOCC.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I was just curious if you had the book, so you could tell me the actual page, but you don't have the book. You're reading it on the computer,
I'm
right?
telling you the book. You can go into the book, the section, book 6, chapter 8, verse 1.
All right. One moment, sis. So you are
Okay,
in.
sir.
One moment.
Mhm,
You are
sure.
in the Antiquities of the Jews.
Yeah,
The Josephus. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Book
On
6,
Antiquities.
chapter 8,
Book 6, chapter 8. One moment.
verse 1.
All right. Verse 1, section. Which section is 156, 157?
It's verse 1. You're in chapter 8. It says, how upon Saul's transgression of the prophet's command, Samuel ordained another person to be king privately, whose name
Right.
was Levi, as God commanded him. So you just go
Right.
down when you're near the end. And when God said it was none of them,
It doesn't give the section within the number 1 is
no, it
Starts
doesn't.
it-
I'm just saying
Okay.
it's almost towards the end of verse 1.
all right. Let's see. One moment.
Sure.
Yes, it looks like it's section 164. It says, now as soon as his father had sent for David, and he was come, he appeared to be of a yellow complexion,
Mm-hmm.
of a sharp sight, and a comely person in other respects also. All right. Well, thanks for calling in and pointing that out, because I haven't looked into it since you guys spoke, but now I have it noted here.
Okay. That was pretty surprising because, like I said, they really don't describe the Israelites. So he came across David. I also wanted just to say, when you were discussing with the previous caller about how it's turning out to be cyborgs and everything like that. Remember Lawnmower Man? When he thought he was God after a while, it's going to get chaos if they start doing that, splicing and everything. You notice how wild he went off. It's not going to.
Right.
It's not going to.
Right.
It's not be complete. It's going to be wild. It's like going to be a chase, a cat and mouse chase around here. So I just wanted to let you know about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually had brought that up in the actual article, and there's a new movie coming out. It comes out, looks like April 18th, called Transcendence, with Morgan Freeman and Johnny Depp, but it's built upon the same Lawnmower Man platform as far as the plot, with this guy who now gets linked into these computers through his brain, and now he's become into the computer, where he's controlling all the computers in the world, and they're trying to stop him. So it's kind of like built upon that same Lawnmower Man concept. So that'll definitely be another movie showing this agenda that they're trying to push upon us to accept.
You know what? The one thing I don't understand, why are these people going to see these movies? Why are they prone themselves or condition themselves into these movies? I mean,
who is that when you say these people?
It's not anything worth looking at. I'd rather see comedy or romance instead of some science fiction. I mean, I used to like science fiction, but I don't like it anymore since I'm now in the Word, and the science fiction is more like sorcery. So I just stay away from it. It's just demonic.
Right.
So just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that, and then that's how you look at the movies along those lines. What I'll say is anything coming out of Hollywood is sorcery, regardless of what level of type of genre, whether it's comedy or adventure. It's all sorcery coming out of Hollywood. But for me personally, when I watch these movies, it's because it does shed light on a lot of what they're doing. It does give insight on what's going on. So, as long as you are watching it with open eyes, it definitely can keep you up to date and informed on kind of where we're at. But for those people that are asleep with eyes closed, it definitely further conditions, programs, and puts this whole idea in their subliminal, in their subconscious mind to accept it.
I see your point. Well, I'll get off the phone because I know other people are waiting to talk to you, and it's nice talking to you, Ramar. Take care.
All right, you too, Simona. Bless you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Bye-bye.
All right, and if you could press 1 for me, sister, and we're going to go to the next caller. We got looks like we got a Ak Paras with a comment and a question. You're on the air.
Shalom, Mark. Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, how you doing? I got a comment and a question. I was on the internet the other day. I was just scamming through the internet the other day, and I found something called a Bitcoin. I don't know if you ran across anything concerning the Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin is definitely a very interesting currency. And, well, what do you got on it? I'll go after you.
Because as far as what I looked up, because I just ran across it yesterday, and it was something that they was talking about. I looked up a couple of videos and then looked up something on Wikipedia about it, but I ain't get a chance to read too deeply about it. But it was talking about it's the new digital currency that's gonna be the next big thing that's coming out right now. That you could what is one of the things that you could do? You could make an online account, and you don't have to put your real name on it or anything, and it could just be an online account or online wallet, what they call it, and it don't have to have any of your personal information on it. But I just think that's just what they having for the time being right now. But I wanted to, since I didn't have enough time to go research deeper about it, I wanted to see what he knew about it.
Absolutely. Basically what Bitcoin is going to be is a segue currency, one of them, into the mark of the beast. It's getting you used to a all-digital currency and used to that concept. There's actually some videos that you can actually check out that will be very informative with Bitcoin, because it's actually a scheme. Like the person who made it has, there's no name or attached to it. It's like it's a mysterious currency that popped up out of nowhere. Nobody really knows much about it. Certain parts of it recently, I believe, have crashed. There's a lot of fraud that can happen with it since it is a totally online currency that people can hack into it. They can hack into your account, steal your money from it, and there's nothing that you can do about it. But the video that you can go and watch, if you want to write this down, if you go to YouTube and type in Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme,
Bitcoin is
and Ponzi scheme. Ponzi spelled Ponzi. And it's by the Health Ranger.
Okay.
Watch that video, and it'll definitely give you a lot of insight on Bitcoin. And there's another one. Let me see if I can find that one, because I just watched these videos this week. Let's see if I can remember. Let me see here. Yeah, I would tell people to stay away from Bitcoin. I mean, really, only use the dollar for what you have to do as far as taking care of daily expenses, paying your bills, but we should be transitioning out of money into resources, things that will sustain us, like seeds, water, storing up food and water in the event of an emergency, survival type of gear, solar lights or crank lights, tents, sleeping bags, water filtrations. You can buy the small filters that can filter water, the life straws, the pills that will filter your water, maybe MREs, food that will last. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I didn't know that they had pills to filter water.
Yeah, they're called tablets that are used. If you just type in, there's an exact name for them. It's slipping my mind at the moment. But if you go online and just type in like a search for water filtration, and they're in the pill form. Let's see. Pills. Purification, or water purification pills.
All right.
Water purification pills. Having a bug out bag, a bag that has clothes in it, and things for survival. So should you have to get up, like Christ said, and don't go back and take anything out of your house, he tells us in Matthew 24, you have those things in place. That's what you should be investing, putting your money into, not into currency, because when the internet shut off, how will Bitcoin help you? If it's totally a digital internet-based currency and you don't have access to internet, it's been shut down because of a cyber threat. Now, how do you get your money?
Right.
It's no different than if your money's in the bank and they shut the banks down, how do you get your money from the bank?
Right,
so we must take our money out of these systems, out of the beast system, and start investing it into our communities, getting resources and things that will help sustain us. That's it in a nutshell when it comes to Bitcoin. And once you go to that video, I'm sure there'll be other videos linked to that one that you can watch that'll give you more insight on it. But it's really that simple. I mean, it's really not much to it once you understand it from that perspective.
Okay, and I had the comment that I had. It was another thing. They got a video game to piggyback off with the other brother before the sister had came on. He was talking about the video game and how they put some truth in the video game. It's a new video game coming out. I saw it on. I was scrolling down Facebook also, and I ended up seeing this also. What was it? It's called Assassin's Creed. It's called Assassin's Creed, and this one, the past ones normally be of Caucasian men or Edomites, or if we just want to call them Edomites, I just use stick to Caucasian. But they usually have those as the main character. But this main character that they have now is like he's a so-called African American.
Oh wow.
He's a so-called African American. He's the leading character in the video game, and they're selling slaves in the video game. I remember seeing a slave poster. Somebody had posted up, and they had the same poster in the video game. I had to actually stop it to actually notice it. Like really, they actually just throwing this truth in the video game.
Right. Right. So, is this the Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag?
Yeah.
And it's crazy that they call it Black Flag, and now you have a black guy that's the actual character, the main character of Assassin's Creed. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Right. And when I saw it, it just amazed me. It amazed me.
Yeah, that is definitely amazing. I never would have thought that. I'll be sure to check that out too. See, because I know they put a lot of truth in video games, a lot of subliminals and things like that too. So, but that being in there, I know it's probably some other stuff that's very, because you know you're dealing with the Templars, Freemasons, and all of that. They put that within that Assassin's Creed franchise.
Right. The only one that I only played the first one, but I've been seeing commercials of them. But this one is the most. It's a wow. That's all I really have to say. It's a big wow.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But that's
definitely sounds like it.
That was all that I had for you, brother. I mean, I like to say Shabbat Shalom again to all the brothers and sisters. You know, everybody stay strong in the truth and keep doing the work, brother.
All right, and thanks for calling in and supporting the show. Ak Paras, bless you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, and if you could press 1, we're going to move on to the 803 area code. Actually, before we go to the next caller, I just want to make an announcement. We got about 90 seconds left before we go to overtime. If you're listening through the computer, you want to go into the 4th hour. The caller number is 646-200-4309, or you can Skype in through Skype on the website. And if you have a question, simply press 1. We'll take your call. Or if you have something you want to add. And Ak Paras, if you could press 1, you're still in the queue. We're going to go to the 803 area code. We have Sister Jenny on the line.
Hello, hi, Shabbat Shalom, brother.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
And giving all praises to the Most High. I wanted to say, did you hear anything about this earthquake that we had here down in South Carolina?
Yeah, I heard about it, and I've also been seeing some other stuff going on in Georgia with some crazy vibrations and things shaking and things going on, so I've definitely seen that.
We are going through it. I mean, we have never experienced. They say we have small ones, like on the 1.2 scale, but this one they say was 4.4, and it's not true. This thing, I was asleep in a chair, and this thing rocked me out of the chair, and other family members were in buildings, and it seemed like the building was about to fall down on everybody. I mean, it rocked me out of a lounge chair, almost to the ground. It had the most unusual sound, like a hovering sound, like a hovering object that was over us. And they singing this earthquake. Now, I never heard of an earthquake having a hovering sound like something over you flying.
Yeah, that sounds like harp.
Yes, it was like a boom, boom. You know how you hear it's like something hovering? And it was scary. It was very, I mean, to be woke out your sleep, shaking to the ground, you going down to the ground. I thought I was in a dream or something.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Kind of scary.
I can imagine, and that kind of goes back to, we've been reading Matthew 24 tonight, earthquakes in diverse places. Like you said, that's something that you've experienced or something that's not normal to your area.
It's not normal at all. I mean, not, and when it happened to the point where people ran outside to see if it was something in the sky. But just as fast as it started, that's how fast it was gone.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like some type of HARP activity or some type of technology that they maybe had going on that was
Because
responsible
an
for that.
earthquake does not make that type of sound, does it?
No.
Like a natural
No.
earthquake. I know that
No.
the plate of the earth be scratching, coming together, but I didn't think it made that type of sound.
Yeah, that I don't know what that was. It just kind of just sounds more like that is what caused the earthquake. Whatever it was you heard
The
was part of
vibration,
what caused
that's
it.
what caused it. Exactly. And we feel that way, but you know how the news spin it, like, it's nothing, with this earthquake, but the people who were here, we know different. We heard that sound, and nothing you can do to take that away. We heard that. And we is not crazy.
Yeah, and it kind of, just for me personally, I've only experienced, I think, an earthquake once, well, maybe a couple times, but when I experienced the first one, it was on a very low scale, and it was only for a brief second. And just the feeling I felt from that brief second of that earthquake on a very, very low scale, the way it made me feel was just bizarre. I mean, it's something you can't really describe or compare to anything else. So I can only imagine if you're saying you're in a chair and you get shook out of this chair.
Sleep now, sleep, and I'm going to the ground. No, you wake up to that and you going to the ground, something wrong. Something wrong, but I just wanted to let you know that y'all pray for us down here, because whatever these devils got going on, you know what I mean, they just off the chain now. They not even afraid of anything no more. I was looking at the news story with Mex down in Arizona. The way they treat those Mexicans was horrible. And then them gay people went down there and they marched for 1 week with that, bill that they had where the owners of restaurants and stuff don't have to serve them if they don't want to. They vetoed, that governor vetoed that bill in 1 week. It took 1 week of marching. And them homosexuals got exactly what they want, and they down there dogging the Mexicans.
Right.
The times is just off the chain. They're not ashamed no more.
Exactly, and it's crazy how you look up and you see how they have more rights than just anybody that's heterosexual. You don't have to march for heterosexual rights. You don't have to let it be known that, hey, I'm a heterosexual, running around with T-shirts, claiming your preference, should I say, but. Yeah, when it's come to that point, it lets you know you live. It's spiritual Sodom, and judgment's not too far away.
It is off the chain. And what do you think of that situation with they got going with my brother's keeper, with how they targeting sending men to help black boys? Did you hear about that program?
Now say that again.
They got a program right now. The president got a program right now called Brothers Keepers, where they targeting black young men, where they sending out, they call mentors to target black men with no fathers and be their mentors. And now they're going to support neighborhoods, and that they said they're going to be basically like the father of these boys.
Is it actual black men or any race?
Well, right now they're targeting boys, black boys. It's called Brothers Keeper.
Right, it's black boys, but I'm saying the father of the mentors, are they black men or are they any race?
Right now, they're showing just black men surrounding the program, but there's not enough black men to do all of this work, so obviously other nations are going to start coming in, being mentors, and they targeting specifically black boys. Right.
And I'm going to do some research on that one more time. What's the name of that organization?
It's called Brothers Keeper. They just entered. The president just entered Keeper.
Because if you go and look at who's behind it, who's running it,
you would know what it's about.
Yeah, exactly, because it's kind of hard to say what it is without actually looking at it, but definitely our first thought, just knowing that there's not too many programs out there that are for our youth. It definitely does raise your eyebrows as to what it's really all about.
Well, all right, brother. I'm not going to keep you long. I thank you for your time. And y'all pray for us down here in South Carolina. That this brown
real quick, sis.
Yes.
Real quick, before you go, I'm just now looked it up online. Obama launched the My Brother's Keeper initiative.
The president. Mm-hmm. And
So
all
Obama launched it.
Black. Mm-hmm.
So if he launched it, we know what it's about.
Yep, and there's people out there making a law where, you know, you have to do this, and black boys are the main target. I don't trust anything that just target us as black people. Nope.
That and Obama behind it, and he's a perfect person to push it since him being the first black president, and now he can show that he's doing something for blacks and for the youth. This is a way for them to do whatever agenda that they got going, which we know what their agendas are.
You see, he got Judge Mathis heading with him, spearing him, and they hugging and all that on the news. And I was saying to myself, if any black mother got any sense in her head, you tell them, no, thank you.
Exactly.
No, thank you. I'll do it myself. No, but you know what? I just pray that we as a people, we're starting to wake up, you know, because if they continue to follow that Catholic religion that they got going on in these churches, they're not going to see nothing, because that way is going to make it seem like it's okay for those guys to come get your kids.
Right. Oh yeah, they will. They'll do it. They'll use the churches. They'll use all the people that are in position and power and authority. Right.
But we as a people, we got to know that when people come to us, they ain't coming from nothing good. They're not coming for nothing good when they come for us.
Nothing at all. Not when Obama's the one spearheading the campaign. It took him 6 years.
Down here.
Most definitely. We'll keep you in our prayers, sis.
Yes, and thank you so very much.
And thanks for the support, and you have a blessed Shabbat.
You too. Shabbat Shalom, brother.
All right, Shabbat Shalom. If you could press 1, Sister Jenny, let's go to the next caller. We have from the 414 area code. Is it Brother Millalay? Your question?
Yes, it's Brother Millalay. Yes, sir. Shabbat Shalom.
Yes. Shabbat Shalom.
All right. All right. I was calling to ask a question in regards to currency. Okay. Yes. For the past 5 years, I've been involved in what we call the revalue of the Iraqi dinar, or we've been looking at the possibility of the Iraqi dinar becoming international again. Right now, at this point, it's not tradable. It's not on Forex. It's not. It's under a program rate. In other words, you can't profit off of it. I don't even think Iraq is using it as their main currency.
Right.
But I'm getting these articles and things from the IMF. I'm getting things from the CBI, the Central Bank of Iraq. I'm reading articles from the GOI, the government of Iraq, and they've been saying for a while now that they're getting ready to put their currency back online and make it tradable, internationally at a rate that was either there before they put it at this program rate, because when the United States go in, they invade, they take over, and all these things that they do to a country. Now, we know that Iraq, the country itself, has plenty of resources, gold, water, clean water, you name it, they have it. So they're saying that they're going to back this currency up with the actual resources in the ground, which will make it probably one of the very few on earth that has so. Now, I remember what happened to Gaddafi, and I know I know about that situation. And I know Gaddafi wasn't with or a part of this point, like down with the UN and down with, what Edom is trying to do, to the people of the world. So I believe that's why they took him out. I've seen a video about the reason why he died, that he was getting ready to take the resources from the ground and use it to back their currency. Okay, he's wiped out. Libya's done. Libya's done. Iraq has been working on this process ever since I would say about 6 years ago. And, you know, to hear what you were saying about, you know, everybody's trying to, take the currency and translate it over to electronic so that you can, you know, be a part of the mark of the beast. Do you know any information about, any information about how legit Iraq is, since they are a part of the UN, since they are a part of, I would say, you know, Satan's program? Do you have any information about maybe what they're saying is true about their currency as far as it becoming international again and it being like a currency that backs up other countries, you know, like what the dollar does now?
Well, I would say you really wouldn't have to go and look any further than the fact that Saddam Hussein, who was actually the head of Iraq, was actually doing the same thing before they took him out and took him down. And now Iraq is basically under American control. We know what America's agenda is. And if you look at that aspect in itself, the fact that America's still in Iraq with a major military force there, that anything that comes out of Iraq and is done with Iraq is going to be done to an American agenda. So I would say that whatever they're saying they're going to do may sound good on the surface, but when you dig deep and you look at the underlying aspects of what's at hand, it's, you know, you can say that, okay, it's an American agenda, and I can't go with anything that they're saying as far as having any value and any type of investment. You know, I would say if you're looking to invest in any type of real currency, it would be either silver or gold. Preferably silver because it's cheaper, because with silver you can do things like use it to make colloidal silver. Silver has a lot more uses that it can be used for. Gold is more of a precious metal, it's more valuable. So that would probably be more of, because that's all that Iraq is doing, is putting their money behind something that's a resource. And you can do that yourself. Just take your money and put it into a resource. Put it into, like I was saying earlier, into food, commodities, seeds, things that actually, when the economy goes down, you'll have stuff that people can actually use and that you can barter with. Because trust, when the American economy goes down, all the economies of the world will eventually crash.
Right, I understand that. I understand that totally 100%. I guess my thing is, you know, personally speaking, along with, I'm pretty sure, a lot of other people who've invested into this, because right now I'm holding the currency, and I've taken it to the bank. It's legitimate currency. It's real. You know, they say it's legit. The only thing is that they're not able to trade it internationally as of yet. And
right.
I guess what they're letting everybody know is that this will be the one last currency, you know, that has value because of the resources in the land. That it'll be one of the last currencies that will be valuable before they totally 100% institute the mark of the beast. Why do I say that? And it's only because of what they said. And that could that
could be true.
Go ahead.
That could be true. I actually haven't. I'm not very familiar with that currency to really speak on it like that. Let me ask you real quick. What is the exchange rate for that for the dollar?
The exchange rate right now for the Iraqi dinar is under what they call a program rate. And that program rate is like, for every $1, you get, I think it's like 1,660 Iraqi, notes, one individual notes. You know what I'm saying? So for every $1, it's equal to like almost 1,200 of theirs, or 1,600 single dollars of theirs. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And right now, that's at what they call a UN program rate. It's not an actual trading rate or international rate, because you can't make, the spread is way too small. You can't make any money that way. So
right.
what I'm seeing is that they went over there, and they, like you said, they put their hand on that country, and they're building that country to be, or to operate like America at least in the banking industry, for a time. And
after America's
it's kind of correct. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. What I'm saying is, kind of just touching bases with you, see if you had any previous knowledge of this, because I'm 100% in agreement. And also those who brought this investment to me said that once this happened, man, you better get your money out of every paper currency that's available. Get it out of it. Whatever you have in paper, they're saying the same things that my GOC family is saying. Get it out of the paper currency, get it into natural stuff like, what you're saying. But I guess, for people that owe debt to the government, i.e. child support and, whatever other cases, it may be, we need stuff like this to, at least in our minds, to break free so that we can pay off our debt and get up out of here instead of having to be a stowaway or something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you may need it right now, but trust me, when all hell breaks loose, all you'll need is the Most High. You won't need that system at all, no matter what debt you owe, because we all have a debt on our head as slaves. When we're born and we get that Social Security card, we get that birth certificate, they put all of these liens against our name in all capital letters, and so they always have it set up, even through the IRS, they always have some type of tax debt that we owe to America, no matter what. Even if you have no credit cards, no card notes, no anything, you always have a debt to America. Some way within the system, they have thousands and thousands of dollars of debt. And that's what all becoming a sovereign citizen, which a lot of people try to fight to become, which, if that's what somebody chooses to do, that's fine. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's always a scripture I go to in Isaiah, and I'm going to get it here real quick. If you can give me just a moment. Because a lot of people do feel like, they need money, but in the end of the day, when there is no money, then what will people feel like that they need? So the Most High is really, at the end of the day, all that we need. It says here, Isaiah 52, verse 3, it says, "For thus saith the Most High, you have sold yourselves for naught, and ye shall be redeemed without money." So the Most High is going to redeem us without money, meaning that he's going to make a way where we feel like there's no way, to where we feel like we need money to make it. He's going to make a way without money. The Most High doesn't need money.
No doubt.
There's also another scripture that talks about money being a defense. I'm not sure which scripture that is, but so money is there in a place to be a defense for us also. But go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm in total agreement with you. I do not depend on money. Okay, let me get that out there. There's no way in the world that I can sit back and say money is my salvation. We can go through so many scriptures about what the Bible says about, leaning on money. I'm not with that at all. I'm not even seeing it this way. What I'm saying is it possible that the Most High, those of us who through ignorance and through irresponsibility have accrued debt, you know what I'm saying, so that we don't have to be, I guess, to make it easier for our minds, could this be a possible way that we can pay off our debt so that we don't have to be on the run? You understand what I'm saying? That's why I'm looking into this investment.
I understand what you're saying, but this is what I'm saying. Okay. When you read Jeremiah chapter 30, we're going to be on the run. That's just the end of it all. Your debt is the fact that you believe in the Messiah and in the Most High. That's your debt that you owe. And your soul that you have, that you reserve for the Most High and His Son, that's the debt that you owe, that they want. So, of course, they're going to put this debt and that debt against you to feel like you're pressured into submitting to the beast, so that you'll go over and feel like that's your way out. But no matter who you are, we're going to be on the run. That's just the way it is. The scripture in 2 Ezra 16:40 says, when you see these evils, be as pilgrims in the earth. So a pilgrim is always wandering from place to place as a nomad. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it ain't fun. Yeah, it's not fun.
Right. So I would say, for right now, do what you have to do to continue to be in good standing. I'm not telling you to just default on everything you have. You have to use wisdom. But know that there's going to come a point in time, the scripture tells us, I believe in Jeremiah 30, where he will burst the bonds off of our hands, the shackles off our hands and our feet. That's that debt. Isaiah 14, that those bonds being bursted off from the king of Babylon.
Okay.
Shoot,
I need that bursting.
Yeah. So that day is coming. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Let's see. Isaiah 14. Yeah, your Bible.
I actually don't have it on me right now. I'm away from my word right now. I guess this is the only place where I can get reception on the phone, so I don't have it with me right at this second.
All right, one moment here. I'm trying to find it. We bring in Brother Shamnu Allah.
Okay.
One moment. Brother Shamnu Allah, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Elder.
Hey, if you could go to Isaiah 14 for us.
All right.
There's a few precepts I want to get with this particular topic. Isaiah 14 and start at verse 1.
We in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
So when it comes down to it, you're actually going to have strangers and Gentiles that's actually going to fight and help us, because they know that we being the chosen, that there's going to be great reward for reconciling what maybe the fathers had did, putting us in the condition that we're in. Verse 2.
Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High, and the servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captive, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Read.
Verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Most High shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor seized the golden city seized?
So that's the whole purpose of bringing Babylon down, is to free us from this hard bondage where we are made to serve, because the way Babylon has it set up is we will always be slaves. We'll always be in debt to Babylon. So he has to take it down. This is part of our being freed. Now, let's precept this over to Jeremiah 30, and it should line up perfectly with what we just read in Isaiah 14. Jeremiah 30, start at verse 1.
In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 1. The word that came from Jeremiah from the Most High, saying, Thus speaketh the Most High power of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, says the Most High, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel in Judah, says the Most High. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it.
Same thing we just read in Isaiah 14, returning back to our land, the Most High bringing again our captivity, meaning he's taking it off of us, captivity that he placed upon us, that we're under now. Read.
Verse 4. And these are the words that the Most High spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Most High, We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace.
Ask ye now, and see whether a man do travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness.
So the Most High, Jeremiah, is saying here, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and faces are turned into paleness, meaning that you are out of breath and are gasping for breath, running for your life. Every man fleeing for his life. Verse 7.
Verse 7, Alas, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time for Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
So it's the time of Jacob's trouble, and Most High is going to save us out of it. He's going to make a way out of what we're about to go through, that we've been going through since 70 A.D. Verse 8.
Verse 8, For it shall come to pass in that day, says the Most High of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bond, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
See that? So the Most High is going to break the yoke, that's that debt, that servitude, that slavery, everything that we owe Babylon from off our neck, and burst the bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. So through this process of bringing these economies down and collapsing all of this, this is the Most High freeing us and bringing us into our land. But no, it's Jacob's trouble, and we're going to be running for our lives. So we're going to be fleeing and escaping, just like the scripture tells us, to flee from Babylon, escape from Babylon, come out of Babylon. It's the reason that he's bringing Babylon down, and we're reading about it right here. So just for anybody, not just speaking directly to you, but just anybody that's out there that thinks that they need money to save themselves with this debt and want to get out of debt. There's nothing wrong with getting out of debt, but no, there's a debt on your head that you'll never be able to pay. And that's what Christ had to come and do for us, is to pay that debt, to pay that debt. And that blood of Christ over us and our soul being given to the Most High, that's what they want. And that's what they're using this whole economic debt system for, is to put us in that mind state that we must now go through them to be free. They're not going to free us. The Most High is going to free us. So hopefully those scriptures give a little bit more light on, what you were asking as far as getting out of debt and whatnot. It's good to get and pay your debts, but know that there's a debt that we can't pay, that just being from Jacob, we'll never be able to pay that debt.
100%. I agree. I agree with the understanding of the two different debts. I use what I can use in this world for this world, but I don't depend on this world. I'm totally relying on the Most High. Only He can pull me out of, whatever I put myself into or, was born into. I'm not looking for this to be my savior or my salvation at all.
Right.
Whether this works or not, hey, I still got 2 feet and 2 elbows. I'm going to be using them. You know what I mean? But
exactly.
as for information, and as just researching, possibilities.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's all I was coming from.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's good to pay your debts. If you owe, it's definitely good to pay. But as we see, when our people left Egypt, and the Most High told us to steal and borrow from the Egyptians, but just know that this time, we're not going to leave out of our captivity the same way we left before. We're going to be running for our lives out of captivity, but it's the Most High doing that to free us of this system that's trying to keep us where we think that we have to be subservient to their system, and we don't. We don't realize how free we are. We think that we have to constantly be up under Babylon, or up under the beast to have something, and we don't really understand how free we truly are. And I'm not saying that you were saying that, but I'm just trying to just shed maybe a little bit more light and wisdom on it, that definitely do what you can while you can, but the day is coming where those bonds are about to be broke.
Yeah.
Well, brother, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. I've never support, working for Mammoth. You know what I'm saying? I was never down for, you know, I'm 36 years old, and I was never down for work for a living to pay bills and to put yourself in more debt. This whole Western American, you know, way of thinking, I had a problem with it when I was in elementary school. It just didn't make sense to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It goes against everything natural to me, you know, at that time. But now that I got the word, I got understanding. It's just, you know, like I said, when it comes to what America does, when they go over and take over a place, it's usually about capital. It's usually about resources. And since we know, you know, what Iraq actually has on deck, you know, as resources, I was wondering if you had any information, you know, about this being a possibility, because they're talking about taking Iraq dinar back to 1-for-1, $1 American dollar for one Iraqi dinar, which would help a lot. But you know, that's just, you know, talking information, man.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I don't really know much about their currency, but I will say that you probably will have some currencies outside of America that may continue for a time. But think about it. If America's gone and those currencies are still there, then, you know, where is your debt to America? The Most High has wiped it out the way so that you're no longer in debt to it. It no longer exists.
That's right. I got you.
You see?
I got you, brother. And I appreciate you going to the scriptures, man. I'm with that 100%, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm not gonna hold you no more. You're having a great show, man. Shabbat shalom.
All right. Bless you. Thanks for calling in, and Shabbat shalom.
All right, brother.
All right. And Brother Milaleh, if you could press 1. We're gonna go. Actually, Brother Shamna Wa'ala, you said you had another precept.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this one. Grab this one scripture right here in Proverbs 11:4. It says, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness deliver from death. So it's based on our righteousness, you know, that we escape these things that's about to come, because of the wrath of the Most High is what's being poured out.
Yeah, that's definitely a good precept. And, you know, hopefully brothers and sisters, you know, understand that the Most High is going to make a way. Whatever situation that you're in, no matter how much debt you owe, we can never pay back the debt they say we owe. They've been stealing from us and robbing from us as slaves. You know, it's so many retributions and reparations that they owe us, but yet we're in debt. So the Most High is about to break that debt and break that servitude and captivity that they say that we're under. And the role is about to be reversed to where now we'll no longer be service to them. They'll be service to us. But it'll be a righteous servitude. It won't be done the way that our ancestors were done, where we're killing and raping and doing all of that. It will be a righteous servitude according to the law of the Most High, the way servitude was always meant to be. And so, you know, just be patient, continue to be steadfast and doing what you have to do to be in good standing with the oppressor for the time being. And but all in all, make sure that you're being 100% obedient to the Most High, because as we read in the Scripture, that's what's going to deliver us from the day of wrath and when these things really happen. So thanks for that precept. All right. We have about 25 minutes left, and let's see if we can squeeze in some more callers here. We have from the 816, Brother Grace with a question. You're on the air.
Shabbat shalom, brother. Hello?
Hey, Shabbat shalom. You're on the air.
All right. I'm so glad that I was able to get on. I was when I first started hearing and coming into this truth, the different conspiracy theories and that sort of thing. I always remember that it's really for our kids. It's not for us. We was taught and brought up to know better, but our kids they're being brought up in something totally different. They don't have no clue if we don't teach them.
Yes, sir.
And most of our salvation is not in this world. We're just passing through, sojourners. And amen, I believe his greatest promise is salvation, and that's what my question is about. And I was just going to mention, I was reading here in Psalms chapter 39. A lot of people say our life is like a act in a show. We play many parts in a show, and it's actually here in Psalms chapter 39, verse 6. I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, "Behold, thou hast made my days as an handbreadth, and mine age is as nothing before thee. Verily, every man at his best state is altogether vanity." Selah. "Surely every man walketh in a vain show. Surely they are disquieted in vain. He heapeth up riches, and knoweth not who shall gather them." And in verse 7, I just got to read verse 7. It says, "And now, Lord, what wait I for? My hope is in thee." Amen. So we put our trust in him to deliver us from whatever circumstance and whatever may be the case. His salvation is sure. You know, he said in his house is many mansions, and that's where my question was coming to, was salvation. You know, a lot of what we've been taught is about going to heaven, and it's come to my understanding that this idea of heaven is just something that they just made up. It's actually the kingdom in Jerusalem that we look forward to going to be a part of in this life and after the judgment. And I just wanted to clarify or make sure that was right. I mean, a lot of people talk about, well, I'm going to heaven, and is that correct? Is that heaven something in the sky? Is actually in Jerusalem? I mean,
yeah, that's definitely a good question, and it's definitely Christian philosophy and doctrine that has people confused when it comes to that, because we know heaven is actually what we look at as space. We know that there are multiple levels of heaven. So what we must understand is that we gain entrance to the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is different than heaven itself. Let's read about the kingdom of heaven. Let's go to Revelations. Let me get it here. Let me find it.
Amen. I was looking at, I think it's chapter 21.
Yeah, there's a few precepts. You kind of have to, but the last few chapters of Revelation that you kind of go back and forth to and from. But yeah, chapter 21, start at verse 1.
And I saw, you want me to read it?
Yes.
Okay. "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High, out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband."
So you see, right there in itself, just within that verse, even though there's more understanding, but that verse should give us perfect clarification that John saw the holy city. We know that there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. So within this new earth, we see New Jerusalem, and we see coming down from a higher out of heaven. So of course, if we know we know heaven is above us, but coming down out of heaven on the New Jerusalem, letting you know that this is in the earth, we see prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And as we continue to read here, let's see, read verse 3.
And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power.
So he heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High. We know the tabernacle of the Most High is in heaven. But now, because it's coming out of heaven, now it says that tabernacle is with men on earth, because knowing that earth is man's domain. We are subject to this earth, not into heaven itself. But we see heaven coming down out of the sky onto the earth. Drop down to verse 10.
And he carried me away in the Spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from the Most High.
So now John is carried away in the Spirit to a great and high mountain. So is he in heaven? He's on earth on top of a high mountain, correct?
Amen.
Looking down at the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending from heaven, out of heaven from the Most High, coming down to the new earth. Now let's read about the kingdom, verse 12.
And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
So now we're reading about the kingdom itself. A great and high wall, 12 gates, and each of these gates has one of the names of the tribes of the children of Israel. And as we continue to read on, there's more to let you know that this is on earth. This is in this city. Verse 14.
And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb.
So we see here the same wall we read about in verse 12 is in the city, had 12 foundations, and in them the name of the 12 apostles of the Lamb, the 12 disciples, which will rule over the 144,000, which will be over all the children of Israel, because there's order, there's levels when dealing with the order that's going to be set up in the earth when Christ returns. So that in itself that we read so far should be, pretty much crystal clear that this is talking about earth and not up in the sky. Because if it was up in the sky, why is John taken to a mountain? Where is this mountain at? And why is he looking down at this city and seeing it coming out of heaven?
Amen. Amen.
And there's more precepts, but that's
Amen.
A lot just right there itself. So.
Amen. And I appreciate it. I do have just one quick question about Obama. Because, again, when I first came into this truth, I was, when Obama first got elected, he was so-called Christian. Reverend Jeremiah Wright was his pastor in Chicago, I believe. And I was just wondering, has anybody reached out to him to try to bring him into the truth. You know, they was talking about his real daddy, and that's his real daddy. If you don't have a father, then the church is supposed to be your father.
That was whose real daddy?
Obama's.
That Reverend Wright is his real daddy?
If he was a so-called Christian, the church is supposed to take in the fatherless.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be a father to him.
Okay, I understand.
And so maybe if he's seen his Reverend Wright turn into the truth, maybe that would be help to turn him to the truth. I mean, I know I was just curious if anyone had ever tried to reach out to Reverend Jeremiah Wright. I know
Well,
that
I haven't I haven't reached out to him, so I can really only speak for me. I don't know what people have done as far as reaching out to him. As far as with that, you know, first of all, of course, he would have to accept. I mean, and not to say that he, from what I've heard, knows a lot of the truth. So I can't speak about what he knows and doesn't know. He knows Christ was a black man. From what I understand, he knows keeping the commandments. So, you know, when it comes to saying into the truth, I don't really know. You know, it seems that he's seeking truth, that he's continuing, that we all should do is continue to seek truth. But as far as what we know Obama plays a role in, when you read Daniel chapter 11, if that is indeed speaking about Obama, then we can't change that. There's nothing anybody can do that can change what's already written.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So I would say the only thing that we can do is, you know, pray for Obama, and as Christ said, love our enemies. So, you know,
well,
that's really all we can really do for him.
I just always tell everyone that I speak with that disagrees with me. I tell them if they love the Lord, well, search the scriptures and see if this is true, and that's our salvation, is the truth. It's what God said. We can't change what God said. Hey, we just have to. That's what the Lord said. So either you want to accept the imaginary image, or you want to accept the truth. You want the blood of Christ, Mashiach. You want Yeshua's blood. You want of the truth in the flesh. You want that blood for your salvation, and not just some imaginary, you know, what you made up. And that brings a lot of people. You can't fight against God. You can't change what he said. So that brings a lot of people. And I was just curious if someone reached out to him. And I just thank you for, again, thank the Most High for you. And I don't want to take up a lot of time.
All right, well, definitely thanks for supporting, as always, Brother Grace, and calling in. And you have a blessed Shabbat.
Oh, yeah. Is there any way I can get in touch with someone in my area? I'm sorry.
Where are you at?
Kansas City, Missouri. I think it's Brother Dante.
Have you emailed the church?
Yes, I have.
And did you get a response back as far as regards to that?
I got some information back, but I didn't get a response back as far as fellowshipping with someone in my area. And, you know, I also called the number. I even got a call back, but it never, I never was able to follow up, and I understand, and I'm patient. And there's no one in my area, and I Purim just passed, and I really felt bad. I couldn't even give gifts. It was.
Well, let me say this. I'm thinking that there's probably not, a main elder set up in your area at the moment. But what I will say this, as far as giving gifts with Purim, is that the main focus with that should be definitely towards giving to the poor. So, you can do that within yourself. Don't necessarily have to have a body in order to do that. Look and see any homeless centers or shelters in your area, reach out to them. It doesn't have to be just during Purim. It could be any time. So anytime you have the ability to give, be charitable to the poor, definitely reach out and take advantage of that just within yourself. And then, of course, if there's an opportunity for you to be a part of a body and do it on a bigger scale, then take advantage of that also. What I'm going to do is, since you are close to Texas, I'm gonna relay your information over to the deacons and elders that are set up there, and have them reach out to you and stay connected with them.
Okay, well, brother, this is
that'll be a start.
It's Kansas City, Missouri.
Right, but I'm saying that's the closest that I know personally.
Okay.
Closest.
Okay.
And at least with that, if there's anybody that they may know, because they may actually know some people in your area, they can link you in with. Or if you're just looking to have like a service that you can listen to, because they do have conferences and things like that through the week, it would just give you more options as far as reaching out and participating.
Well, I'm going to continue to leave messages and email and follow up through that means. And I'm very patient and just very thankful. I got my Bible, and amen, I got the truth, and I'm able to hear and fellowship through the broadcasts and through the videos online. And amen. Thank you for taking my call. I don't want to take up any more other callers' time. Thank you, brother.
All right, bless you.
Bless you.
All right, we only have a few minutes left, so we'll see who else we can squeeze in here. From the 352, we got Brother Cleve with a comment.
Shabbat Shalom, brothers.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Hello? Yeah, I just wanted to call in and give my support. All praises due to the Most High, Ahaya Bahashem Yeshaya. And it's just amazing that the truth, just how I received the truth. It's been about almost a year now. And I just thank the Most High for you, brothers. Bless you all. And I just want to show my support. And I'm just very happy, very thankful. I'm going to keep mine brief. I just want to say keep on putting in the work. And, we all going to follow in that same vein.
We definitely, appreciate the support, and it definitely means a lot. Like I said, we couldn't do what we do without brothers and sisters that support us. So we all play a role in this. So let's make sure that we continue to do our part.
Every day, all day. It's funny because I was talking to to the owner of the company that I work for. He's a retired football player. And he looked at me, he's like, Cleve, he see how much work I handle now, and I'm just breezing through everything. And I keep trying to, push on him the truth, but because, he said one time to me, hey, Cleve, you know this is a white man world, because he's a retired football player. He played for the Bengals and for the Cowboys and all that, and now he don't got the millions running in like he used to. But he got perfect credit, and he's establishing businesses. And he's giving a lot of opportunities to people that, have some bumps and bruises and they pass. And when I kick it with him, I keep pushing it on him. And I'm going to tell you something. When the people recognize, the world recognize how we live and how we operate, and then that draws them to want to receive from us. We don't even really have to push it on them. And I see even when they don't want to receive it, they see it. And I just thank the Most High for y'all brothers. You know, I'm in this my second time around in the academy. If it's the will of the Most High, I'll be down there with Ayel and get that baptism on the Passover. And I'm so happy, man. I can't even put it in words. It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me. You know, I'm just amazed. Constantly getting books dropped off. Today I had Satan's Angels, whatever that book. I peeked in that a little bit, came to the office today. And I can't believe how much I've learned in like less than a year. I can't believe it. It's incredible.
Yeah, because, you know, once
doubt.
you wake up, you become hungry to the truth, and it's just like you can never stop learning, so you just try to get as much as you can in while you can. So definitely that first year, in the very beginning, you just become a sponge, and you're just trying to soak up everything.
You know what's even funnier than that? Like when I'm learning now what alch means and all that, growing up in Newark, New Jersey, you know, we used to be like, hey, what's the deal, alch? And I used to, you know, talk like that, but I never even knew what alch was. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I mean? It's just, I'm telling you, man, it's the approach that we had. I say we, I'm part of the church no matter what. The approach that we have, right, is perfect. And it's just being truthful with the words of the Most High, with the scripture. And because even coming up in Newark, like it was some brothers that that I even went and sat with some Israelite brothers coming up for like one time, me and my cousin, my street cousin, I call him Tunk. We went in there and they pulled out the Apocrypha. And, you know, they was like, I couldn't really receive it. I didn't even know that it was part of the original King James. I thought it was some kind of like mysticism that they was trying to kick off. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew, you know, a lot of things I just knew wasn't correct with the church. My father's a pastor. I knew the Catholic Church with the statues and all that. You feel like you going into some scary movie or something when you go into their church. But when the Hebrew brothers in Newark, you know, still they are brothers, you know. And that's another thing. I just pray that we all come together. We need to just focus, even if it's other Israelite groups or whatever that maybe, you know, been doing things a certain way. It's time for us. If you can receive anything from the doctrine and you receive it, if it's true, just roll with it. You don't even got to act like, you know, you got it from here to there. Just receive it and operate within it accordingly so that you can be in line with the